Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another week of After Dark. My name is Aaron Knoll. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We are back once again talking about all the latest movie news this week as a car speeds outside my window obnoxiously. I don't know if that bled through or not, but we are here joined by some exciting panelists. I got some regular, I got some guests coming in. We got some fun stuff happening. First up, joining me, Mr. Nikki Sullivan. Nikki, how's it going?
Hey man, how you doing? I am just perplexed because you played the other countdown and not this glorious thing.
If I promise you 20 seconds of Zemo time at the end of the show, we good?
Yeah, we are. You are
All
forgiven. It's great to have you here. There's great stuff here. I got the soundboard ready. I think Devin might be coming at some point. Maybe he's not. He was doing some sort of Dungeons and Dragons thing or video game thing. I'm not really sure. He had a busy day today. I thought he was up in his room sleeping. And like at around 5 o'clock, like I went to wake him to do he usually does Dungeons and Dragons at 5 o'clock, and he just wasn't there. Like it's just like, where did he go? Like me and the kid were watching Mortal Kombat, and then like I went down. I'm like, where did he go? And he was apparently gone all day, and I didn't even know it.
I just want to say, Chris, just because the show has ended does not mean the Zemo can't live on. And with that, we are not joined. We are not joined by Mr. Beer. We are not joined by Mr. Beer tonight. He is surrounded by the loving embrace of friends and family, or whatever that looks like in a time of COVID. We are instead joined by one of hopefully two guest panelists we have on tonight. He is Mr. Jordan Anderson. Jordan, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going?
Not John Cena?
Yeah. Not John Cena tonight, but yeah, it's going good. I think that countdown could be a perfect outro for the show. Maybe we'll see. But
it's great. I just need I can take the countdown out and just do like thanks for watching. We'll mess with it. We'll do some stuff. We'll find some other people dancing that fit to the beat. Maybe we can play with it, guys. I want to do a lot more videos like that where it's just we kind of brainstorm and then make a funny video, like the Willem Dafoe Avenge Me one, or the This Is the Way Mandalorian one. Those get a lot of views and they go viral, and I would love to make more of those and just brainstorm. We should do that some night on After Dark when it's a slow news week.
What Nikki's saying is he's upset that he didn't get to Zemo before Marvel did.
Right.
No, it's just I like that Zemo has done some healing. You know what I mean? We see him at the end of Civil War. He's about to take his own life until T'Challa stops him. He's healed in prison. He has a restored joy of living. He's happy to be alive now, which is not something I thought we would see from Baron Zemo, and I'm really happy to.
Maybe he found God or something, like a lot of people do.
He's happy to be rich, and he has a kick-ass butler.
I think it's because he murdered. He murdered.
Right.
That's why he's.
Yeah, everybody murders.
So, funny enough, speaking of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we're pulling an audible this week as I finished the show notes. I had everything recorded, and then a news story came out. And then it didn't end up mattering because the video files got corrupted and had to re-record them anyways. But I still didn't include it.
I walked in on you recording that. Was
that you that did that? Was that you?
I thought it was I thought it was backstage for the show, in the StreamYard that we use for this great broadcast.
Yeah.
And then I jumped in. I'm like, oh, this is the wrong thing. I don't want to kill his vibe. And I jumped in and I saw your eyes dart in the middle while you were.
So here's a bit of a. Here's a bit of.
And I just left. Nope. Not gonna deal with that. Aaron's in game mode right now.
Here's a bit of behind the scenes. In order to keep things smoothly, I shrink my window screen down to where I can basically just see the end broadcast button. So I just heard a beep and had no clue what was happening and just tried to keep going.
And you had different clothes on too.
I did. I got a little more dressed up.
Clothes for the
I got dressed up.
The intros and the live show, guys. So check out that.
I got dressed up for you guys. I put a polo on. I care.
We're gonna have someday if we ever do if we ever get one of those Patreons, that's what it's called, Patreons. The Patreon subscription will be our behind the scenes shenanigans. I've already have that planned out in the levels. We just need to get a lot of followers. I need to share this everywhere. If you know a place that we can share this, share it yourselves and then tell me so that I can join that group and then make friends with all the people in the groups and then join other groups that they're in so that I can just share this everywhere because I want this show to be the most watched podcast that has myself and Aaron on
it. There you go.
I will take that. I will take that. I will take that.
Jordan, I think more people watched yours that we were on with you and Video Drew and
oh yeah,
Adam,
yeah.
Adam Wade. Yeah, and that has more views than our podcast. So that right now is the podcast with myself and Aaron, but we're striving to beat that. And since you're here tonight, hopefully that will bring this episode a chance to do that. Let's get to the news, Aaron. Come on.
I always bring the Schmodown guests, and also you can always share. I run the Schmodown Friends and Family. Aaron from time to time does share in there. We get a lot of eyes over there, so share it over there. Like it's a total like free for all for sharing. So
I love it.
Yep.
So let's get into it.
Captain America is black.
Well, yes, that did happen this week.
He's back and he's black.
No, this is my Captain America. Like that, that's what I said after like that like this show is this is my Captain America. I love it.
All right, let me get through this paragraph so I can take my face off screen. So, following the conclusion of the finale of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, also therefore known by the end of the episode as Captain America and the Winter Soldier to make Nikki happy, the Hollywood Reporter reported that Disney had been working on putting Captain America 4 into development, and they are officially moving forward with it. The film will star Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson, Captain America, and is set to be written by series showrunner and head writer Malcolm Spellman, and he will be joined by show staff writer Dalen Musson, who was the head writer for Episode 5, Truth. As of now, no director or other cast is attached, but it is heavily implied that multiple members from the show will be returning for the movie. No timeline is set for the release date as of yet. All right, so obviously very, very little to go on, but what we do know is that they are moving forward with the movie, and they, at least internally, were very happy with the show to bring back 2 of its writers to work on it. Jordan, I'll go to you first since you're the guest. What were your kind of thoughts? And to say, we do have a spoiler review yesterday from the episode. We will not be diving too deep into spoilers today because that video is there for those of you who want to watch it. But Jordan, as somebody who has seen the show, what are your thoughts on them bringing back the head writer and the writer from Episode 5 to take on this new movie?
I think that it's great because I've actually only seen up to Episode 5, but I don't care too much about spoilers. I know we're not getting deep into it, but I mean, I think that it's great. Like it's kind of like the whole thing, like so like on the show Community, they didn't want to do 6 seasons in a movie. They never got to their movie. This is like 6 episodes in a movie.
Oh, they'll get there eventually.
So it's like, but yeah, so it's like basically like an extension of the show, which I think that's great because I mean I loved WandaVision and I felt like that Falcon and the Winter Soldier took WandaVision and like brought it to the next level by doing their own thing, like did something that I loved even more than that. So I mean I'm excited for it, and who's to say if we're gonna see Chris Evans, because it's been rumored Chris Evans might make an appearance in something. I don't know if it'll be this, but yeah, I'm excited for it, and I'm actually really happy that they're bringing back the same team, same writers, because, I mean, I was really impressed. Like, Falcon the Winter Soldier killed it for me. So, yeah, I'm happy about it.
Yeah, Nikki, what are your kind of initial thoughts on this happening?
No, I'm thrilled. And, like, really what, like, my first thoughts was I was thinking of, like, Hope Van Dyne at the end of, like, Ant-Man, the first Ant-Man, where, like, she looks at the suit and she says, it's about damn time. But, like, it's about damn time that Sam Wilson is Captain America. He has been selected for this role. I think they always knew that Sam would be the next Captain America after Steve leaves the franchise. I think that was planned when they cast Anthony Mackie, and he brings such a new flavor, if you will, like a new sense of intrigue to the character of like the mantle of Captain America, where he has all of the values and like the righteousness that we saw out of Steve, but he also brings this like racial perspective to it that I myself don't have. I can only imagine, and just like seeing what they did in yesterday's episode, especially with these writers, it really is beautiful what they did with that show. The end of Endgame, like he has this look on his face when Steve hands him the shield. And like he kind of, and this is the one like problem that I have with Falcon and Winter Soldier, is that at the end of Endgame, Steve takes that shield. I mean, Sam takes the shield from Steve, and he puts it on, and you see in his face, like you see this look of doubt, and then you see like this look of like staring off like into the future, and then it's acceptance. And in that moment of acceptance, I always said, right there, he becomes Captain America. So the Falcon and Winter Soldier, seeing that show start and he doesn't have the shield, I was one of those people that was like, dude, you became Captain America. Like, I was on Bucky's side with the, like, Steve gave you that for a reason. But and I love Sam's reasonings for not taking up the shield. I think that adds, again, a great perspective that I don't have. He says some amazing things, and they're very comic book accurate. Sam Wilson as Captain America, where he does speak out on like political views. Like he's not going to keep his viewpoints inside himself. I hope that we see some of the other characters that we saw on this show return for the Captain America movie, but I just think that it's the natural progression. I think that there were talks of doing a season 2, and I don't think this means that you can't do a season 2 or perhaps a spinoff that's different. But like having him get a movie, it kind of reminds me of when the Next Generation, Star Trek Next Generation, took us how many minutes? 11 minutes to do the Star Trek reference. When the original series films were ending, and then Star Trek Generations comes out, and it's the cast of the Next Generation, it's his turn. And even though this only got one season, he earns his turn. He earned his spot in the big box office, which hopefully we will get to blow this movie out of the water, making $300 million opening weekend. Because I really hope that theaters are at a point that we as a society, we live in a society that we can't go to the movies. But I want to go to the movies, and I really hope that by the time this movie comes out, he gets the opening that he deserves, because I'm afraid that Black Widow won't get the opening that it deserves, because it does deserve a $200 million opening weekend. It just isn't going to get it because of the circumstances. But Captain America, Sam Wilson, Anthony Mackie, I'm really looking forward to that. And I think they did say that the Steve Rogers thing was rumored to be a different project. I'm not saying that we won't see him in this movie, because I think we will see him in this movie at some point. And that's because of my theory that Marvel does not do one-picture deals. If they sign somebody on for a movie, if it's like seems like, okay, they're done with this character, but they don't sign one-picture deals. Look at Robert Redford. We thought his was the only movie in Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and then he shows back up again in Avengers Endgame, which was always planned, is what the Russo brothers said. So that's my thoughts on it. I don't want to run on too long. I just think that they did some really beautiful stuff with Sam Wilson, Captain America. So I'm looking forward. And that suit.
Yeah, the suit.
Yeah, you saw the action figures, right?
No, I haven't.
No, you haven't? Oh, I was talking about the suit that they get, but both suits.
Oh, for that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good suit. Yeah. It's very comic accurate, and it's good stuff. But Aaron, what do you think? I want to hear your thoughts.
Well, I was going to say, before I go into it, to answer the question from the chat, as of now, there is no director attached. Now, a different source from the Hollywood Reporter, and it's a source that is so small, I don't remember its name, quite honestly. I only really remember the big trades offhand. Did say that potentially Marvel could enter talks with Kari Skogland, who was the director for all 6 episodes of the show, to bring her back. But that is nowhere near confirmed, and we don't actually really know where they're at in terms of director.
She said all 6 episodes of the show she directed?
Yes.
This was directed by her. What was her name? Kari
Skogland.
Wow. Huh.
Yes.
I didn't realize the entire show was directed by the same person. Shame on me. I love that Henry Jackman score, and I was just distracted by that, apparently. I did not know that this show was directed by her, and did not know it was directed by a woman. So good for her.
Yeah. And she...
I love that, because this show is incredible, and definitely she deserves to direct the film. I mean, this is one of those things where it's kind of cliche at this point. We need more female directors in Hollywood, because they're really talented. And like, I love that sentiment. It's just very rarely does it like live up to that. I think Ava DuVernay is the director of something like A Wrinkle in Time. That was who directed that, right?
Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah. And that's not a good movie. And she's like this very like hyped up director. But
she also directed Selma, which was brilliant. So we've seen 2 sides.
Yeah, 2 sides of it. There's always But someone like this, for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and she directed TV shows previously?
Yeah, so I was gonna say, so she is somebody who is a lot like the director of WandaVision, Matt Shakman, who has a lot of experience in TV. She's directed for shows like The Punisher, The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, Vikings, Sons of Under the Dome, Boardwalk Empire, and so on and so forth.
What I was saying was that with her is that, and can you say her name one more time because I want to remember this?
Kari Skogland.
Carly Skogland. Remember that name because Kari Skogland. Okay, this is one of those things where I love that sentiment, and very rarely does it live up to that sentiment. She lives up to that sentiment. I don't just think that this is great directing. I think this is one of the best directed, like Marvel series that we've had, because there's some moments, emotional moments, and like action moments that we have in this show. And just some of the framing. I was not aware it was directed by the same person the entire time. And it clearly does have a concise vision. And I thought that might have just been Feige leading through to his directors. But no, I'm happy about that because she did a great job.
Yeah, and that directing thing is a sentiment that they are keeping for most of their shows. As far as my own research, I believe the first production they have where they will have more than one director is Miss Marvel. Yeah. But even so, they've established the general. Yeah, well, they've established the two directors who directed Bad Boys for Life. They're credited as Adil and Bilal. They are part of the directing team.
You told me that. But I was worried about that. And then when you told me that, it made me like a little bit excited for Miss Marvel. Can we add Medea in here? Is that all right?
Yeah, well, I was going to wait till a break, but I wanted to get the point out.
I don't want to see you, Medea. I don't want you.
So that's the first show that'll have more than one director. But they've established that they are kind of the head directors, and I think it's only because they couldn't be there for the whole shoot. So they've established the tone, and they've kind of set out what will happen, and it's just other directors executing their vision.
That's the one I'm
so
most
Marvel is very forward on one director, one vision. You handle this just like you'd handle a movie.
Well, we had
Let me bring them in.
WandaVision.
You had one director.
No, but we had two visions. Come on, man. Okay.
All right.
Two unintended puns on our show last night. One of them, he said that Batroc leapt in. And then the other one, I can't remember what the other one was, but it was so good. Like, it was such a good pun, and he just didn't even realize that he blipped. He said blipped. He said that Sam blipped.
Okay. Joining the show, we were happy to have him on a couple of weeks ago for our Ray Fisher episode, and now I'm happy to have him back for the other side of the show, which is the Dick Jokes and Movie News. He is Medea Raymond joining us.
Medea, I didn't make any dick jokes, all right? I didn't make any.
Not yet.
That's why I'm here, is to inspire you guys.
Thank you.
Dick jokes.
So, Medea,
inspiration.
Inspire us. Give me your thoughts on Captain America 4 happening with Dick Jokes included.
So you guys were saying Kari Skogland is directing Captain America 4 then?
Yeah.
No. So a separate source from THR who reported it did include in their version of the article that they had heard that Marvel would negotiate with her potentially, but that is far from confirmed. It's just a rumor.
Marvel,
okay. I mean,
he's amazing.
But it makes sense. If they're bringing writers back from the show, it makes sense.
You might as well bring her in. I mean, I think my thoughts on the whole show as a whole aside, I think what she had as a vision was not that bad. I enjoyed what she did. So,
Medea, before you go further, can I ask you something?
Of course.
And just what I've been asking everyone. We asked behind the scenes. But do you think that these like Marvel series would benefit from having the last two episodes aired on the same day? Because like that's just one of the things that I'm saying. Because a lot of the things that I'm hearing from people with disappointment with the last episode, and I think they can just fix that with the two episodes. So I was curious what you think about
I think I brought this up with you. I don't even know what show I was on last week that I brought this up, but so like WandaVision was one of those things where like week to week there were so many theories about like what was going on and like who was doing what
by design.
And it worked better going from week to week, right? Like WandaVision for me, I thought was perfectly well done. Like you get the first two episodes out, you get the really weird shit out of the way, and then you get into like the weekly thing. This one, I feel like they could have done all in one day. Like if you had put all 6 episodes out in one day, it would have worked much better for me.
Or even do 3 and 3.
Or 3 and 3, whatever you want to do. Like it just flows better. Like for me, that was one of the problems with this show was like the pacing of it. Like I am invested for like 35 minutes because the credits are 20 minutes long on the Disney Plus shows. And then like I have to wait a week, and like for this one there wasn't as much like in between that I was like, all right, yeah, that's something I want to see, or like this is something that I want to happen.
Cold water thrown on you in between episodes.
Yeah, exactly. Like I definitely would have preferred this show to work week to week, or like all at once. With Loki, I feel like it's going to be one of those week to week shows that it works better that way.
I designed because it seems like they're going to be like a different time.
Yeah, like it looks like they're going to kind of go different timelines and things like that. And then that's the thing. Like I feel like it would work better. Like something like The Mandalorian worked week to week.
Yeah.
And then I feel like what Marvel was doing is like, oh, the week to week thing works really well, not taking into account the structure and the style of the show.
Right.
So personally.
And I think,
but it's filmed to be all at once.
Yeah,
and I think that's one of the things with the shows that I think Marvel will just have to find their footing with, because it's as such. Kevin Feige has said they are just treating these like longer films in terms of how they're doing the production, which is why they're keeping one consistent director through all episodes. That's more
true for this one than it was for WandaVision, but that's more
because
the plot of the show being
it works differently with WandaVision. Was definitely
you said what I was going to say. Yeah.
So
once we get to Monica, her story was very serialized.
If I rewatch this show in like 2 weeks and just watch the entire thing at once, my opinions on the show might change.
Which I recommend because I did that last night and it's great.
Okay, see, like that's what I was going to say. If it's different watching it like consecutively, then it's probably a better show, and then I'm going to have even less problems if they bring in Kari Skogland. But I mean, if they make a Captain America 4 and they have basically the same general group of people, like they have Anthony Mackie coming back, they have Sebastian Stan. I really want them to have I don't know the actor's name, but the guy who plays Isaiah Bradley, because he was, for me, the best part of the show.
Carl Lumley, yeah.
Yeah,
and they aged him up too, which makes me think we're going to see him in flashbacks at some point, because Carl Lumley, like, he's older. He played Martian Manhunter's father in Supergirl. He played Martian Manhunter on Justice League Animated. But they aged him up for this role, which leads me to believe that we will see a flashback.
So I feel like if they
sized him up too, he's not that big. I don't know how they did that.
At this point, we're all going to pretty much see everything that Marvel does, no matter what. Like,
yeah, sign me up. Yeah, and Aaron hates the multiverse thing, but I keep telling him
they have us chained together by the dicks at this point that we're all in line.
They're going to make it as accessible as possible, because even something as far out there as WandaVision, they made it accessible.
Absolutely. And
someone on this show.
I don't know if that answers the question or not. Whatever.
It's your thoughts. It's your
I love
thoughts.
having you on a episode that we can really like get into some, because that Ray Fisher episode a few weeks ago, that was heavy.
It was a heavy episode. Now
that was a marathon, not a sprint. And I like that we have these topics that we can go
these
through.
short sprints every now and then.
We can have like 5-hour conversations on every single one of these topics. You too, Jordan.
So before we move on, just because I saw the comment come up, Malcolm, you're actually 100% correct. I did kind of reference it at the start, but this is something they've had in the works for a while. I believe they were just simply waiting on audience reaction. You know, for all we know, they loved it at Marvel, and the audience reacted some horrible way to it. And then it's like, maybe not.
They weren't gonna announce it before the show came out.
Yeah.
Just because it wouldn't have made sense. Like everyone's like, okay, so he's definitely going to become Captain America.
This is one of those shows that was plagued by COVID, plagues, no pun intended. That was plagued by COVID.
We're doing really well.
He loves it. He's thinking about it. He's like, where can I get it?
You make more dad jokes than my actual dad does.
I'm terrible. I'm very insecure. So with the COVID stuff, they were heavily editing this thing down, because originally there was this plot line where it was supposed to be some sort of pandemic that was happening because of the repopulation, where like if half of the world's population suddenly appeared, you would have a pandemic on your hands, because you have 5 years of people developing immunity to things, and then half of the world's population not having that immunity for the last 5 years. It's science, biatch. So they thought that was just too close to home at that point, which I think we could have handled it. But
isn't
they
that
did
the next part of the Spider-Man movie? Too close to home.
I do.
I
too
don't
close to home. That's one of the names. They probably considered it. They probably considered it.
Anything with a home in it.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah. I do have to say though, before we move on, shout out to kind of go off Nikki's point. Shout out to Malcolm Spellman for being a visionary. Not only did the man predict a global pandemic, he also predicted the rise of race issues to the forefront of society. I don't know how you managed to pull that off 6 months before it happened, but kudos to you, sir, and doing it in a way that if this had come out in August of 2020, even though it was touching on things that would have been super sensitive in that heat of that moment, I still think it would have been as well loved as it is now because it handles it in such a well and mature way.
The Captain America we need right now. You know what I mean? Like it's perfect. He's perfect for that. Not that that's what he needs to do. He can just be a cool superhero, but like he can be like that, like what he's talking about in the show. And he has a line where like he says, like I see the people staring at me thinking these things about like me being a black man as Captain America. But like I'm just like I'm not one of them. I love this. I think he's great as it. I think he's going to be great as it. I don't ever need to see Steve Rogers again.
Yeah, let Chris Evans like do other stuff.
Yeah. Let him direct.
Yeah, I mean, no, I agree. That whole speech that he gave, like, to the politicians and the senators, I was like, all right, you're calling them on their bullshit. I like it. Yeah. Do that, and you're on camera too, so great.
Yeah, Chris Evans can direct if he likes. He just needs to get better at it. I don't know if anyone else has seen his directorial debut, but it's not the best.
No, he has those visions. He has a vision.
Does. So
and he has a vision on the team.
We're not moving completely off of Marvel just yet, but we are sidestepping to another sect of Marvel as we go ahead and move into our first original topic. Let's begin. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2 has finally announced its directing team that'll be taking over the sequel, as well as who is officially writing the film. Variety reported this week that 3 directors leading the charge this time are Joaquin Dos Santos, Kemp Powers, and Justin K. Thompson. Dos Santos is a known quantity in the animated world. He is most known for joining Avatar: The Last Airbender during its 2nd season and quickly becoming a prominent director for the show, including directing its series finale. He was also the lead director of the 1st season of The Legend of Korra and showrunner on the recent Netflix hit Voltron: Legendary Defender. Kemp Powers is a writer most known for his work on projects like Star Trek Discovery and One Night in Miami, who made his animation debut last year as the co-director and writer of Pixar's Soul. Justin K. Thompson makes his directorial debut at the film after serving as the lead production designer and visual designer on other Lord & Miller animated projects, including the first Spider-Verse film. This team will lead the Sony animation team, who are working off a script that's currently being written by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who will once again produce the film, as well as David Callahan, the writer of other projects including the upcoming Mortal Kombat and Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. So far, the only confirmed characters returning include Shamik Moore and Haley Steinfeld, who will return as Miles Morales and Gwen Stacy. They'll be joined by Miguel O'Hara, and also known as Spider-Man 2099, who was played by Oscar Isaac in a cameo in the first film, as well as a total newcomer in the character of Takuya Yamashiro, who is based on the Spider-Man from the 1970s Japanese television series. The film is set to release on October 7th, 2022. And also with this story, the last week we talked about how Sony had signed an exclusivity deal with Netflix in which their theatrical releases will stream on the site exclusively for 18 months following their exit from theater. That deal is set to last 4 years, from 2022 to 2026, with an option to extend if both parties agree. However, as for after the 18 months, Sony were allowed to negotiate their films anywhere, and rather than waiting, they already have. As this week it was announced that Sony Pictures confirmed that following the 18 months exclusivity with Netflix, all their theatrical releases will then move to either Hulu or Disney Plus in a deal signed with Disney. This deal will also run for 4 years with the same extension offer on the table should Netflix choose to extend. As with the Netflix deal, Disney have also have the option to negotiate for the rights of older Sony films to join their services, as Netflix did not sign exclusivity to that. According to the report, the Spider-Man films could be coming in bulk to Disney Plus as early as June or July, alongside other franchises like Jumanji and the Hotel Transylvania films. As for new releases, at the minimum, we most likely won't see them appearing until October 2023, and that's for any Sony films that release in January of 2022. It should also be said that Disney did not sign an exclusivity deal with Netflix, meaning that if Netflix wants to keep films on their service past the 18 months, they do have the right to sign for and do so as well. However, no matter what, they will go to Hulu or Disney Plus as well.
Aaron,
Yes.
you. I don't know if you did this intentionally, but you buried the lead on me in our pre-production meeting. We were talking about how like the Spider-Man, like Into the Spider-Verse directors, animated directors, it's like voice acting. Like it's a very different craft. And I was kind of being an asshole about it. To be completely honest. But then Aaron said that this person had worked on Star Trek Discovery. You buried the lead there, man. Come on.
Yes. The writer who wrote
about these directors. I cannot wait for Into the Spider-Verse 2. And just in case people don't know, Star Trek Discovery also deals with multiverse, dimension hopping, Earth 1, Earth 2, mirror universe. Ooh, mirror universe, where everyone is violent and bisexual. So maybe we'll get some of that in this movie.
That's just me on a given Tuesday.
Miles Morales, violent.
There it is.
I didn't hear that.
I said that's me on a Tuesday for $20, man. Like, I'm not gay, but $20 is $20. That's all I'm gonna say. Also, Aaron, you changed your shirt really fast in between those two. Like,
I did.
That's impressive. Like, you went from like the black to like red.
I walked
I
in
wish
him
I could do
recording this
that.
before the show, and he had a different shirt on, and I wasn't sure if he was trying to make it appear like it was a different day that he recorded that, or if he just watched the videos back and was like, "No, that shirt does not work. I'm changing it."
Yeah, no. We'll never know.
I originally did have better produced videos with like pictures and all that. Then the files got corrupted, and I didn't realize till an hour before we went live, so I quickly went back and ran through them again.
Aaron's been corrupted, guys. He's the T-1000 now. Corruption of an artificial intelligence is also something that happened on Star Trek Discovery.
Yes, and he's written on 5 episodes for the show. So let you know.
Which no,
that'll take longer, but I can if you really want it.
I'll look it up myself while the others talk. What's his name?
Kemp Powers.
Poust?
Powers.
As like Power Rangers with an S.
I think he said Poust. Oh, I love Power Rangers.
Yeah.
All right, Mehdi, what are your thoughts on this? Where do we want to go first? We want to talk about the Disney Plus deal, or we want to talk about Spider-Man?
Yeah, sure. Let's talk about Disney Plus. This just means that I won't see Morbius until like December 2029. That's basically all it is. Like.
Well, it'll go to Netflix first. Don't worry.
Yeah, the Disney Plus thing and the Netflix thing, who cares? Like, okay, yeah, it's nice that they're on there, but like, it's not going to make.
You know what I will say? As somebody who only has Stars, because currently until the end of the year, all their films are going to Stars as per that contract, I feel bad for them because they're about to lose some subscribers, man.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. The Spider-Man movies are going to Disney Plus, and I saw somebody already start to overanalyze, so I'm gonna just get ahead of it as the skeptic with all of this. No, just because the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield films are going to Disney Plus this year does not confirm that they will in fact be in Spider-Man 3. That is still a rumor. We will wait for Marvel to confirm.
It does not confirm that, but I do think what it does confirm is that there is another rumor going around that they may make a Spider-Man 4, like with Tobey Maguire, like a proper Spider-Man or a proper Spider-Man 3. Because if they do that, I think one of the deals that Raimi will make is that Spider-Man 3 never happened, kind of in like a Terminator Dark Fate type thing. But I know you oppose the multiverse, Aaron, but do you oppose movies that so they'll just go back to a different actor? Like, do you oppose when they have different actors playing different characters in movies as long as it doesn't try to pop universes?
No, because at the end of the day, like the Maguire films are the Maguire films, you know, and this is something that's happened before. You know, James Bond had already moved on to Roger Moore, and we still got one more Sean Connery film. Like, it's not like it's something that hasn't happened before. Yeah. So
it doesn't what I'm trying to like that. Okay.
Like I mean, I don't love the Raimi Maguire films as much as everybody else does, so I'm not saying I'm head over heels excited they do it, but I don't care. Spider-Man 2 is brilliant, but the other two I'm not so huge on.
Multiverse concept, though.
Hey, if they prove me wrong,
the world,
I just feel like this new like Spider-Man movie that they're potentially making is just going to be Into the Spider-Verse except live action, and I'm like, just do something original.
Thank you.
I don't think that's what it's going to be. I think that's.
I hope it isn't. I hope it isn't. But they're like,
especially considering Doc Ock is now in this
right
movie.
At the end of Spider-Man 2, and I was like, he was drowning with the power of the sun in his hand.
With the power of the sun, and you can create a wormhole with the power of the sun that is collapsing. So that does theoretically speaking, as far as astrophysics go, I don't really oppose that as much.
He didn't study that in college, so he.
No, I didn't. I didn't take. I skipped astrophysics in college.
Are you so you don't have any of you studied astrophysics, Jordan?
I took astronomy.
Definitely not.
That's but Jordan,
I don't even know if my university offers astrophysics, man.
I took astronomy for an easy credit.
Well, I don't know if mine was astronomy or astrology. One of the two. Like that's.
It was one or the other.
Like the Greendale of schools. Like it was not a great idea at the beginning.
But Jordan, you've been quiet over there. What do you got on these stories? Netflix or Spider-Verse? What do you think?
Well, so with the Netflix, yeah, I don't really care. I mean, it's good for Disney Plus, but it doesn't really matter to us that much. Not really, because we're going to see them on Netflix. But I'm intrigued though that like I don't know. Well, I wonder. Because they're going to bring in the Japanese Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. That kind of has me intrigued. And I wonder if they're going to incorporate any live action, because that was a live action Spider-Man. So that kind of makes me wonder about that. I bet they'll keep it animated, but I mean,
animated Miles Morales in the live action Spider-Man movie.
Hold on 1 second. 1 second, Jordan. I'll let you finish.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I'm going to call this bluff, Malcolm. Give me a minute. I'm going to call this bluff. All right. Continue, Jordan. Let's continue.
Well, also too, the directors sound like they've worked on some solid projects. I got to kind of look into it a little more, because you kind of went through it quick. But as you were going through it all, I was just like just kind of chumming along. Oh, they did that. Okay, this sounds solid.
So to explain it a bit more, Joaquin DeSantos has never directed a film, but he has worked on a number of television projects. One of the ones I didn't include was he directed, I believe, half the episodes of the show Justice League Unlimited back in the early 2000s. He worked on seasons 2 and 3 of Avatar, where he became one of the main directors. He was the co-director and basically showrunner of the first season of The Legend of Korra, and then he moved on from that show to work on Voltron Legendary Defenders on Netflix.
Okay.
Where he was showrunner.
That's just Joaquin DeSantos. Like he's one of the like I've seen all of those shows, and like it's amazing what he's able to do with those characters. So.
Yes, and then. Kent Powers is a writer. I did mention it briefly there, but he actually is, as of tomorrow, we'll find out if he's a nominee or a winner, but he is nominated currently for Best, I believe, Adapted Screenplay for One Night in Miami at the Oscars. He wrote that. He also co-wrote and co-directed Soul. So he has, and that's his only animation credit, but starting with Pixar isn't too bad a way to start. Soul, and then the other gentleman, Justin Thompson. Justin Thompson has never directed a film, but he is a longtime production designer, and he's worked with Lord and Miller on almost all of their animated films. And basically, the way that they kind of put it is the reason Spider-Verse looks the way it looks is accredited to this guy. So now he is literally in charge. So I don't think that's a terrible thing, especially because he is partnered with people.
Well, I just hope that they get the actual credit for it. I feel like within the Spider-Verse, it was just all Lord and Miller. So I hope that they actually get some acclaim. You know, people actually learn their name and know that these guys are actually like legit. You know, so
regardless of what I say, it does matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other guys, thankfully, even though the general world did not necessarily learn all of the guys' names from the first one, I know Peter Ramsey was one of them because I've said his name a few times for other things. They're all getting work. So Hollywood has recognized them for their work. Yeah. But in terms of literal, people knowing their name, that didn't work out totally. But they do know them. So in terms of the Disney Plus, Netflix, I just put it down to good for Sony. They're getting their name out there. They're getting their films out there. I'll finish up as I bring on our extra guest, Malcolm. Yeah, I think
Malcolm, long time no see.
Malcolm just couldn't resist.
Yeah, same.
to me, this is like, and I say that, right? Like Sony have had this exclusivity deal with Stars, so like pretty much all their films are going to Stars, which fucking no one has. And it's like,
And isn't their
no,
service
this is
like internationally called Star too?
that's Disney Hotstar,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Malcolm, I think you would have that, right? In
No. So basically, what it is on Disney Plus, you've got all your things like National Geographic. It's just a thing called Star in our Disney Plus app. So
the Marvel section, the Star Wars section.
Yeah.
The
So
Star
it's
section.
just added on a
You can use the VPN.
section that just says Star, which is where you would go for all the Fox stuff, all the
that
maybe
probably,
Sony stuff. I don't quite know, because one thing I did read in the article is that this Spider-Man deal, this Sony deal, is only for Disney Plus America. So
Okay.
I don't know what that actually means, if it's true. But I mean, we've got Sony stuff on Netflix anyway for us, so I'm not too worried.
Yeah.
I will say we have the Star stuff in Canada too, so we're like I'm also able to like all the Planet of the Apes movies are all on there, so I'm planning on like watching those again.
Yeah.
So
Malcolm, I'll pull up the comment again. Malcolm
you're gonna
here
explain
has studied astrophysics. So I actually am very curious to hear this. So scientifically,
have you actually studied astrophysics, or are you just?
No, I
fucking knew it.
Oh, you fucking swindled me! Get the fuck out of here! What are you doing? No, can you explain it? Can you try?
I mean,
sounds smart. You can do it.
You can do it.
It's about physics in AstroTurf with Astro the dog.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, I tried that.
Nothing to do with the Houston Astros. Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, I was. I did have something funny I was planning for that. I just forgot what I was going to say.
Astrophysics totally
is a
honest.
required course at Starfleet Academy.
I was so shocked. I'm sitting here thinking, I've known Malcolm for fucking years. How has this never come up? Like, you have
when are you ever like sitting around the coffee table like, oh, let's discuss astrophysics tonight? Like that's
all the time.
Yeah, it's that line in Endgame. Scott asks, "Has any of you studied astrophysics?" And Natasha says, "Only to make conversation." But yes, as a graduate of Starfleet Academy and a Starfleet captain, as you can see by my nice pips that I can.
I see a little red shirt under there.
I know everything about Starfleet.
I see
Academy.
a red shirt.
During the TNG era and Deep Space Nine era means that you are in command.
Yeah, but this show's more like Galaxy Quest, and they definitely die there.
Yeah.
I love Galaxy Quest. Galaxy Quest is great. But actually, that's a misconception about Star Trek, because during the original series, not many red shirts die. Yellow shirts die more than red shirts in the original series. So
I still have to watch Star Trek. I've only seen like the most recent.
It's great.
movies.
Mitchie, I would love to. Aaron just watched through a lot of them, and I loved hearing like his perspective as a Star Trek noob. So I would love to go through with you and watch those and hear your.
Aren't a bunch of them shit though? Like that's the part.
Like half of them, but they're
one. I think the only one that is like hard to watch is Star Trek 1.
Oh, good. So the beginning.
I've seen the first 6 movies. 2 of them are shit.
Yeah, which 2? Star Trek 5 and 1, right?
5 and 1, yeah. Like out of the first 6, 2 of them are legitimately bad.
5 is shit, but it's one of those shits that you take that you feel better afterwards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like explosive diarrhea, but like once it's over, you're like, okay.
Malcolm has that stare. Malcolm has that stare, like he's regretting finding his home in the show. He's like, what did I do?
You're welcome, Malcolm.
One of those shits that it's like, oh, that was kind of pleasant. You know what I'm talking about.
Jesus Christ! All right,
I've only seen one of the movies,
Superstar.
but I have seen the entire original series. I don't know how much like they compared in quality, but I've seen that at least.
I mean, the movies had more money.
Like, there's some great episodes, like Spock's Brain. Spock's Brain, is, an all-time great, like laugh-tastic Star Trek episode because it's stupid. But people say it's the worst episode of Star Trek. But they say you could play like a drinking game watching Spock's Brain and take a sip of vodka every single time, or beer even. Every single time they say Spock's Brain, and you will die of alcohol poisoning because they say Spock's Brain in that episode so many times. It's hilarious. I love it.
Nice.
This is one episode?
Yeah, it's one episode called Spock's Brain.
Take a shot. I guess.
Medee's like
here's
going to
the
Netflix.
episode, they remove Spock's brain.
I mean, if you're talking about drinking games that you could end up alcohol poisoning, if you listen to the Dave Dobbin song "Loyal," and drink every time the word "loyal" was said in that song, it is said a hell of a lot of times.
There's some good nerdy drinking games out there, like The Flash last season, or any of the CW shows. Anytime they say crisis, like, have to take a drink.
Yep.
I think we all just need to check into rehab.
Almost
Is what I'm hearing.
Don't make me go to
Listen,
rehab.
the last few times we've been encouraged to drink alcohol on this show, I have not.
No.
I will survive.
Because you were underage when the Barbarian was on. No, actually, no. It was your 21st birthday when the Barbarian
That was one of them, yes.
And you did not get alcohol that day before you came on the show, which just shows.
Not for your 21st birthday?
To this podcast. Yeah, I think that was your 21st birthday when the
It was,
Barbarian was on.
I turned 21 in the middle of the show.
And then I recited a song from Hamilton as Jar Jar Binks. The three of you were not there that night. Devin pulled up the lyrics and he made me recite it as Jar Jar Binks. I shit you not. It was incredible, if I do say so myself. It was very accurate, and I had tears in my eyes by the end of it. Not because I was emotional, but because I was out of breath.
But because you had
Accurate is not the word I would use. Accurate is not the word I would use. Between
very difficult choice.
Stop.
Between the rap, by the end of that
That's
song,
not too bad.
it sounded like
It's actually pretty good.
Aaron should introduce the next story to the
right.
Chancellor.
It stops this. Let's go to the next one. This week, Marvel finally moved on from releasing Black Widow trailers to give us our first look at Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. The film, which stars Simu Liu, Awkwafina, Tony Leung, and Michelle Yeoh, focuses on Shang-Chi, a man who is forced to confront both his past and the Ten Rings organization after leaving it all behind for an attempt at civilian life. The trailer also showcases some of the film's acrobatic action sequences, which we will get to see in full force when the movie releases on September 3rd, 2021. Following the release of the trailer, producer on the film Jonathan Schwartz spoke to EW about the film and made comments referencing that the hardcore comic fans should temper their expectations when it comes to the film's portrayal of the Mandarin, also known by his civilian name of Wenwu. Schwartz said that he understands that when Marvel fans hear the Mandarin, there's a very specific image and character that comes to mind, one that was physically portrayed previously in Iron Man 3 by Ben Kingsley. This time around, however, the Mandarin's interpretation is also mixed with the character from the Shang-Chi comics, Fu Manchu, hence why he's being portrayed as Shang-Chi's father in the movie. He praised Destin Cretton's interpretation of combining the two characters and hoped that fans would accept a slightly more accurate, if not also altered and possibly deeper interpretation of the character that fans have been waiting for since they were first teased in 2013. This week, director James Gunn revealed that he will be working on more than just a film with the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 shoot coming up soon. During the scheduled out production of the film, which is set to release in 2023, Gunn and the crew will also be working on the shooting of the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, which will air on Disney Plus in December 2022, as well as the footage that will be used for the brand new Disney World ride, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, which is an upcoming roller coaster project that will be at Epcot, which will feature cinematic sequences a la the Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts ride at Universal Orlando. The ride currently doesn't have an opening date after missing its initial mark for Disney's 50th anniversary, so they clearly have decided to take their time and get it done right. Russell Crowe, while doing an interview on an Australian radio show, confirmed this week that he will be having his last week of shooting on the set of Thor: Love and Thunder, where he has been since mid-February. Crowe then accidentally revealed and then confirmed following the mistake that his role in the upcoming film will be as the Greek god Zeus. Though he did not elaborate any further for the sake of not being killed by Kevin Feige, considering the villain Gore the God Butcher, as played by Christian Bale, the inclusion of the Olympian god is an exciting inclusion as the films continue to dive deeper into comic lore. And finally, Secret Invasion is one of the Marvel Disney Plus shows currently without a release date, although with all the insane casting going on, it's got to be coming sooner rather than later. After previously confirming that returning stars Samuel L. Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn alongside newcomer Kingsley Ben Adir as the villain, two huge supporting actresses were added this week. Up first, Daenerys, Mother of Dragons herself, joins the MCU. This isn't Emilia Clarke's first rodeo with blockbuster filmmaking. Since debuting on Game of Thrones in 2011, she's also found herself a member of the Star Wars franchise and the Terminator franchise, and was actually even previously cast in the aforementioned Iron Man 3 before a rewrite by Shane Black saw her role be removed. Clarke will also be joined by Oscar winner Olivia Colman, who's best known for her roles in The Favorite, The Crown, and the recently Oscar-nominated 2020 film The Father. Coleman brings a piece of award pedigree to the project, something that Marvel has done many times in the past. Neither actress have a confirmed role, though in a project like Secret Invasion, the odds of either of them being a Skrull is like 100%. Filming will begin later this year.
Fun fact, Michelle Yeoh is also on Star Trek Discovery and will be having her own Section 31 spinoff at some point.
There we go. We got that reference out of the way. Malcolm, I'll go to you first on this one. What are your kind of pull out one of the stories and kind of give me your thoughts? We'll start with that one.
So, I mean, Emilia Clarke is picking up franchises like There's No Tomorrow. There's only one other actor that I know of. There's been so many other franchises, and that's from Star Trek Discovery, Jason Isaacs.
See, the thing with Jason Isaacs, his franchises are very European. You know what I mean? For lack of a no offense. I know you're from Europe, and like
he's not from Europe.
I don't even say that's offensive. I love Jason Isaacs, and I cannot wait until Jason Isaacs comes back to Star Trek Discovery, because there's a loose thread out there where prime Jason Isaacs got caught in a wormhole or singularity or something like that. So I love Jason Isaacs. He's been in Lord of the Rings, correct?
No,
Harry Potter.
No, he's not in Lord of the Rings.
What are his franchises?
Harry Potter, though. Yeah,
Harry Potter, DC. He was in the Clone Wars for Star Wars as well.
Rebels.
Really?
Actually, but.
Yeah,
Rebels. He was one of the brother something was the character's name, I think. Right? That sounds familiar.
One of the Inquisitors. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
One of the Inquisitors. Oh yes, he was. Was he the Grand Inquisitor?
Grand Inquisitor
Yes.
from season 1.
I did not know that was Jason Isaacs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Guys, I'm starting a Star Wars Bad Batch show when that premieres, and I need people that know things that I don't know about Star Wars. Apparently, I thought that I was the expert. Evidently not. As Redstone would say, I'm sorry I interrupted you, Malcolm. I yield before your European superiority.
Somehow the world has shifted, and somehow New Zealand's moved.
Are you in
to
Australia or Europe?
New Zealand,
which is
Don't
like
insult them by saying
Oceania,
it's from
I think is what
Australia.
the
I made that
technical
mistake
term is.
already.
I'll get my foot out of my mouth in a second. In all of your New
Mickey
Zealand
is never going to be allowed
is
outside of Europe or America now.
Hey man, between you and me, those Europeans could learn something from you New Zealand boys. Yeah.
But anyway, you know who else is New Zealand? Russell Crowe. So get back on track.
Here isn't here to retort, so I will reiterate that I do have a better singing voice than Russell Crowe.
Okay.
I don't somehow.
On that note, Russell Crowe just letting slip that he was Zeus is a very Russell Crowe thing to do. I think he has let slip a few other, but
Kevin Feige killed his firstborn son, right, for doing that.
It's one of those ones that I kind of hope this confirms that we're going to get a live action version of Hercules as well.
Yes, that was my immediate thought.
I'd be down for that.
So
that would be dope.
It'd be awesome.
But I
You
mean,
can rock.
but yeah, that is a great casting. It's one of those ones I never thought about, and then like when that announcement happened, it was like, no, I can actually see it now.
Yeah. Especially like he's a little bigger. He's got the beard. Like, yeah, I can see Zeus.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to
Very
Secret
Odin, right?
Invasion, like they can add who they want. At this point, I trust the MCU to do things
Guys,
right.
I have a buddy comedy to pitch: Odin and Zeus.
Well,
Bro.
Odin's dead, so try
No,
that.
no,
I just feel like those two, like Russell Crowe
Young Odin and young
just
Zeus.
in the car,
Young
like,
Odin,
fucking hate
young Zeus. They go to college on Vormir. They get into some really kinky shit. The Eternals are there. There's a couple of Celestials, and
You make it
even
like
a Watcher
Odin's
people.
in the
really
60s
into
or 70s,
BDSM,
I'm
and that's
down.
how he ends up with the eye patch.
Gotta do that.
we get to see which woman Odin got down with to create Hela, because it certainly wasn't Frigga. I don't know how they created that one.
They look into, you know what? Maybe though, because Frigga was a witch, so it could be dark magic. But hey, Hela's a goth. All right, we all dye our hair black at some point in our lives.
I don't even need to.
We all have the darkness within, and especially
I'll go
the
through
pale
certain
ones like
phases.
myself. But yeah, no. Here's the thing: if Zeus and Odin, like it's a prequel series with them as buddy cops, and they look into the future to see one image of the future, and it's Vision's penis.
Okay, we're done with you.
Right. On that note,
I come on the show one time. One time.
your thoughts on the stories.
To continue building kind of on what Malcolm said, with the Secret Invasion casting, like, yeah, they could pretty much add anyone, and I trust it. So I need people here who have seen Game of Thrones to help me, because I've never seen the show. What on earth do the people see in Emilia Clarke? Because everything I've seen her in, she has been wooden and bland as hell. She wasn't good in Terminator. She wasn't good in Terminator. She wasn't good in Star Wars. She wasn't good in Last Christmas. I don't remember what the other one was called, but she was in that wheelchair suicide film. She wasn't good in that. Like, everything I've seen her in, that's maybe the best. But
I think
she's just bland.
I think they see something that is old-fashioned in her.
I think
her solo character, that was a very old-fashioned performance, and it could have been in the score. It looked like something that you would see in an old movie, like one of those Casablanca movies, where she's like a damsel in distress, but she's in charge. She was the most intriguing part of Solo.
Her character was, but her performance wasn't. I didn't think her performance was up to snuff.
I thought her performance was great, and I think her performance suffered from the reshoots.
I could buy into that. I feel like that movie.
So I would say,
I feel like that movie was kind of like just split in two, and that's like kind of what really hurt the movie a lot.
Yeah,
like there was parts I liked, but a lot of it was just like, all right, well. Okay.
The best part of the movie is the hologram.
Her in Game of Thrones, though, I think. Yeah,
it just made her look hot.
Her in Game of Thrones, I thought was.
That's like all it was.
Well, I mean, you've seen the show, so tell me
that story. Yeah. Like, what is she up to with Darth Maul? Like, what the hell is going on there? Like,
we'll get into a Star Wars thing on May 4th when you're doing your bad.
Did she brand him on Malachor? Like, I want that. Simon, that's like the most like intriguing unanswered question for me in Star Wars, and I don't want to see it in a comic book. I don't want to see it in an animated series. I want a live action TV show called "What the Fuck Is Kira Doing with Maul?" Like, is that not just like
they answered a little bit in the animated show? Like, there's a quick reference to
like
it.
Whose line is
I'm
it?
rewatching all the animated stuff.
That's too adult to be an animated show. That is a TVMA series.
Yeah. All right, so back to the point that I was trying to make. You've seen Game of Thrones. Enlighten me on what I'm missing with her. What did she do in Game of Thrones that I am missing with her theatrical film?
She's strong. She's
powerful. I want to like her.
Beautiful. She has a great accent.
In Game of Thrones, the thing is with her.
But can't she actually act?
Game of Thrones is really
we've seen her act.
All right, let me talk. Let me talk.
It's a brilliant ensemble for Game of Thrones. Like you have like everyone really doing phenomenal work in the world of the show. Like there's no one who's really giving bad performances other than the writers in season 8.
Man, another time.
Don't even start. The thing is, even though everyone like Peter Dinklage does a phenomenal job, Kit Harington does a phenomenal job, Sean Bean for the one season he's in does a phenomenal job, but throughout the entire show she's one of the consistent, like, bright, shining stars of that show. Like, she tempers that line of, okay, I know what I want, and I'm going to go after it. I need to take in other people's... Like, she really plays, like, the... Spoiler alert, I guess, but who cares?
No, go ahead. I don't care.
Of, like, all right, she's potentially insane, but you're just kind of seeing, like, the borderline of, like, all right, is this redeemable through other stuff that's happened because of whatever? Like, she really towed that line of, like, insane and sane as a leader.
And
it was really well done by her. Like, I don't know many other actresses who would have been able to pull that off for 8 consecutive seasons. I think in season 8, she was probably the best part, but the writing failed her for sure.
Okay.
She has a sympathetic quality about her.
She has I've still argued with some of my friends who I watched the show with. They still agree with some of the stuff that she did in the final season. I don't, but I get where they're coming from based on her performance leading up to it at that point.
I don't necessarily think she deserved to die for it, because like it's war, ugly things in war, because you feel her pain. That's the biggest thing about it, is that you don't really. There are scenes where like she talks about everything that she lost, but it's more about how she carries herself. There's a lot of like posture acting to it. Like it's
her and Jamie Lannister are the two guys that are the two actors that do the best in this show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
Jamie Lannister
with everyone she works with.
If I have my casting correct, Jamie Lannister is Nikolai Waldo, correct?
That's what his name is. Yeah, Nikolai Waldo.
So
those
funny
two,
enough,
right? Danish man.
He's the other one outside of it that I haven't been convinced by yet in film. But so let me pitch this to you then. One thing that's also consistent with Emilia Clarke's films, at least in my opinion, outside of the fact that she's not great in them, is also most of them aren't very good. Do you think her being in Marvel is the thing that could kind of put her back on track, since they seem to mostly put out better products?
I think if Secret Invasion is good, she will be really good in it, and people will love it.
But I think
I want to like her, but I haven't found her great in anything. Like she was getting, in terms of on-screen chemistry in that last Christmas film, Henry Golding was doing circles around her. He had chemistry with himself more than he had with her. That was weird to me.
Yeah, but that's just every given day, right?
Sorry, Nikki, go ahead.
I think that's what it plays down to, is chemistry. She has chemistry with everyone she works with. Like every single person that she has scenes with on Game of Thrones, there's not a single actor and they recast like a certain part in the middle of Game of Thrones. Like she has a love interest that they just recast, Dario Naharis, and they recast him in between seasons.
And it worked better when they recast him.
More. See, and that's what's great about her, because it's one of those things that's debatable. It's not like absolutely like final. I think she had better chemistry with the first guy, but she had chemistry with both of them. You bought it with both of them. So like where it's like the first episode's a little jarring, because like they're very different looking people. Wasn't it? It was Ed Skrein the first time around.
Ed Skrein, and then the second guy was. I've seen him in other stuff. I just can't remember.
Ed Skrein.
Now that I know it's Ed Skrein, I can find it.
Man. Great actor, greater man, a friend of like people, equality, diversity. I always tell the story whenever we talk about him, but he got cast as a role in that awful Hellboy movie.
Oh, and then they replaced him with.
Cast in it, and then he asked to be removed from the project so that they could cast a racially accurate actor, Daniel Day Kim, who is an acquaintance of one Alan Shepard, who's regular on the show sometimes. Daniel Day Kim was cast as a more racially accurate portrayal of the character. So every time I see Ed Skrein in something, I root for him. He's great in the movie Midway. I think he's great in Alita Battle. My face, my beautiful face. He's
good
great in Alita
Battle
Angel. And so she just get back to the point of Emilia Clarke. What we see in her is that she has chemistry with everyone. Even though Alan Ehrenreich is not like prototypical Harrison Ford Han Solo, the scenes that she has with him, she brings out the best in him. She brings out the best in his performance. I saw the most of Han Solo-y type of behavior with his scenes of Emilia Clarke, with him trying to seduce a woman in the closet by cornering her where she can't get out and then kissing her, which, guys, come on.
He does that in a couple movies, but whatever. We'll
So
we'll talk about it another time. I don't know. I'm confused about it.
Nobody has chemistry with Jai Courtney, so
would you agree with that, though?
Terminator.
That's fair. That's fair. Jai
Courtney
has a hard time.
Yeah, Arnold, sure, but then you went like Jai Courtney in the movie, and you're like,
so to answer his initial question, though, is that what you see in her?
Like, no, I still think she's a good actress.
Yeah, I think she's a great actress too.
I think the work around her has not been as good as she deserves.
Yeah,
that's fair. And I will say,
he still is a good agent.
It's hard to judge somebody when I haven't liked most of the stuff they've been in. So that is part of it, but I just have to take what I've seen. So before I go to the next thing, the gentleman that Mehdi was trying to get to is, I believe it's pronounced Mikhail Huisman. He was in Haunting of Hill House, World War Z.
Yeah, that's him.
Wild, yeah.
But
And what's
yeah,
it
so
for?
there's that. But like, I mean, the cast of like the Secret Invasion thing, you add Olivia Colman, who I've known since Broadchurch. I don't know if you guys
Okay,
watched that
yeah.
show, but she's brilliant in that.
We will
She's
cut
brilliant in The
whoever it is.
Favorite. She's really good as the Queen in The Crown.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen The Father yet, but I've heard she's pretty good in that too. But
She's my front
Aaron
runner.
has been praising
Okay.
The Father. I
Yeah,
haven't
she's my
watched it
front-
yet, but I will
I mean-
watch it before the Oscars because of what Aaron has said.
The Oscars are tomorrow, so
I know.
Yeah,
I'll watch
but, I
it
mean-
tomorrow. I'll watch it at midnight tonight or tomorrow because you have sold me on that movie on the fact about like the concept, the performances. I think that's gonna win it all just purely based on concept alone.
I wish. I don't think it will, but I wish.
I think it will.
I mean, based on Olivia Colman's like Oscar acceptance speech,
Yeah.
I feel like her and Emilia Clarke are going to get along really well.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah. And with Sam
great.
Jackson, Ben Mendelsohn,
And with Sam Jackson, Ben Mendelsohn both
Kingsley
being like,
Adir, like
Oh
you know,
yeah.
like
And we haven't even
that
talked about this.
four-
Who do you think
that
he's gonna
group
play?
of four, take it.
do
Yeah,
you
like
think
I
he's
think
gonna
they're going to do really well
Oh.
together. Like, there's not going to be an issue.
go fuck.
I mean,
Go
I
ahead,
don't.
Malcolm.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I don't know if Olivia Colman's officially been confirmed. She just said that she was in talks last I checked. So unless it's
Yes,
been recently
yeah.
confirmed. So
I mean,
Yeah.
you know they've called Emilia Clarke a couple times. Like if she
Yeah,
was
oh,
not
yeah.
supposed to be an
Well,
Iron Man,
well,
It's
Oh,
the
yeah.
right
was he?
role for her.
I know
Yeah.
Emilia Clarke was confirmed. Olivia Colman is still in
So-
talks at this
Okay, well they got to
stage.
get on that.
What do you
Olivia
guys-
Colman,
We'll go around
Olivia
the table.
Colman is amazing.
Malcolm, what do you have left to say, and then we'll go around the table. Who do you think she's gonna play?
I mean, at this stage, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like for all we know, it could be a original-ish character that's an amalgamation of two characters that they're putting
Oh,
in
yeah.
for this. So
Do you
I
think
don't
it'll
know.
be a Kree or a Skrull?
I'll
I don't
probably
think
say
so.
a scroll. Just
Skrull, yeah. Because if she's a Skrull, then she could play do what Mendo did and play the person she's trying to synth, and then also play the Skrull form of them. Because that's what they did with Mendo, where Mendo was the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., but he was also Talos.
I think they're just gonna have her as like a general government agent, but like a pretty prominent one. Like I don't think they're gonna make Olivia Colman get into like the CGI. Like
Oh,
stuff.
I was speaking Emilia Clarke. I didn't
Emilia
even think.
Clarke, yeah, they'll make her a Skrull for sure.
Yeah, I think if Emilia Clarke will be a Skrull. Olivia Colman, I think, will definitely be like an agent. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know if Olivia Colman at her age is gonna be like, yeah, put me in the mocap suit so I can like
Yeah.
have my face
like an
changed on
alpha
camera. And
agent.
shit. Like
Like
come
a
on.
Peggy Carter, like an alpha female, like.
Yeah,
being-
like she'll definitely be one of those.
No, that's what she'll be in that. Yeah, absolutely. I think Emilia Clarke will either be a Kree or a Skrull just because of what I said, where she has a noticeable face, noticeable features. She wants to be seen. But also the Skrull makeup doing what Ben Mendelsohn did also in Star Wars. Great character. I want to see more of him in Star Wars. I love it when Mendo gets angry. Like, I don't know about any of you,
He
but
does
whenever
really well.
Mendo is just screaming, he's
Yeah.
at his best for me.
Same.
The neighbor of yours, Malcolm, he's from Australia, right across the pond there. I got that right that time. I get things right sometimes too.
One
but,
of two so far.
Jordan, do you have anything further to say on this?
Yeah, I mean, I think she's probably just going to end up playing, just like you said, a Kree or a Skrull, unless they just decide to bring in some other franchise that they're like trying to connect with this, you know, like and just have her be something
Like
I don't
Battlestar
know,
Galactica.
like something
right?
in the left field, like. Well, no, just like bringing someone, like have her. Like play something from like Fantastic Four, Invisible Woman, something like that. Bringing something like you wouldn't really think that.
She rolls up
Yeah,
Secret
feel something
Invasion
like
with
that.
Darth Maul.
But I think it's gonna get. right.
bring in the Xenomorphs from the Alien
Yeah.
franchise.
Yeah.
I would love to see
Yeah,
Emilia
Xenomorph.
Clarke hiss and howl
Yeah.
in one of those suits. That'd be something else.
Go picture, kid. You got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and I do want to, before we move on to the next set of topics, I do want to bring it up the Shang-Chi trailer. Obviously, it's just a teaser. We don't get a whole ton with it, but I really liked it. I like that this does very much feel like another Black Panther in that it's exploring a sect of culture that we've never really been exposed to in terms of an MCU film, and it looks like they're attempting to do it in as much as a viable and inclusive way as they can, which I think is cool. I love the like playing it in with the beat of the song. They're playing, I forget the name of it offhand, the song, but like where he's punching the wood. Like I like that idea, and that's something that he's done at all ages. They're able to show the clips.
The bass was on that. I love that. I
enjoyed that.
We didn't even talk about Shang-Chi. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that back up because this is what I was saying in our pre-production show. I completely forgot.
Yeah, and so the other thing that I kind of took note of in the trailer is, I like this idea. Like, as somebody who doesn't know anything about Shang-Chi, and I don't know if this is a thing from the comics, like, I like this plot, this idea of like this dude who spent his whole life growing up just training to become this next warrior, and then whatever, whether he snuck off or was allowed, kind of that dialogue makes it seem like maybe he was allowed to leave. He just wanted to fuck off and live a normal life. And I love the flip in the trailer where they show that nice ass car pull up, and immediately I went, oh, he's not going to be another rich boy, is he? Nah, he's the dude driving the car to its parking spot. It's not about another rich boy. He just wants to live a normal life. Him singing karaoke with Aquafina and all that. Yeah. So like I enjoyed that aspect.
The Mandarin sent him off to learn was humility.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I enjoyed that aspect of it, and so I'm really interested. It looked like for a second there was a dragon in the trailer. I don't know what that has to do with the rest of this, but it looked like there was.
Black Panther. They're just dragons now.
I mean,
Malcolm, go ahead.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, if you did see Dread, I wouldn't be surprised if they are bringing in the character of Fin Fang Foom into the MCU.
Okay. That's a character,
which is a big giant dragon.
There's a dragon. All right.
But and I mean, like just from the name alone, it might fit him well in the Shang-Chi universe. I don't know much about that crossover, but I like this trailer.
And and plunge my fist into his molten heart.
And to touch on the Mandarin comments as well about I mean, I'm glad we're going to get a somewhat accurate Mandarin because I mean, and I was saying it ever since I'm in 3, but people are just like, because everyone keeps pointing at Ben Kingsley being a terrible Mandarin. He wasn't the real Mandarin. He was just an actor that's portraying the Mandarin.
Yeah.
And
so they thought the Mandarin was a myth.
And I do want to clarify because the way that I worded it, what the producer from Marvel was trying to say was, in terms of physically portrayed, he means quite literally in terms of the look. Like when he was talking about the look that you expect from the Mandarin, they gave Kingsley something closer to that look with the bun and all that type of stuff and the literal rings. That I think we even saw in the trailer, the rings don't even look like physical rings. I think those are the bracelets we see on somebody's arm.
I got a theory on that one.
It would be too much like Infinity Stones, I think. And like I think one thing, this could be another double switch with how the Mandarin. I think it could be a double switch where the Mandarin is being a title of whoever wears the bracelets, and then by the end of the movie, whoever Michelle Yeoh is playing, she takes the bracelets, the 10 rings, and then becomes the title as the Mandarin. Because Michelle Yeoh, the Mandarin, for some reason, that's just like ka-ching to me. Like, as soon as like I got that thought in my head, I could not get away from it because she is glorious on Star Trek Discovery. That woman,
like that,
that woman can.
I just like that might piss off some fans more though. Like it's another fake thing that's not real, kind of thing.
But this is what I always say about the bait and switch thing. There's like 2 examples of this. So what they do in Iron Man 3 is the reveal, but like what is reality is worse than what they portrayed originally. And then you can what they teased you is not as good as what you got. So go to Captain America Civil War. What they tease you is this fight with a bunch of super soldiers at the end of the movie. And then you get to the end of the movie, the super soldiers are dead. And what you get is Captain America and Iron Man and Bucky fighting instead of the fight with the super soldiers that they teased in the movie. There's a way you can do that. I think what you end up with is better than what you teased. Another example, Glass. Glass didn't work because what they teased was this grandiose fight at the top of the highest building in the city, and what you got was Bruce Willis drowning in a puddle.
Yeah.
Aaron, you were going to say, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was fun.
Well, Malcolm, go ahead first because you were also ready to jump in.
I was about to say, when it comes to character, I think people be more understandable if if it's an actual character being the somewhat version of a Mandarin that they know. I mean, it may not have to look exactly like it, but if there is a switch and it's the people controlling the rings or bracelets or whatever it is, and they are known as the Mandarin, because just looking up the character on Wikipedia, the Mandarin has different civilian names in the comics anyway, so I don't think it.
He seems very old.
Yeah, so I mean, it's one of those ones that if that is the way they're going to do the switch, then it makes more sense as opposed to just being a random actor who's not even of Chinese, just being a Mandarin. But it kind of makes you wonder. I wonder if we get a post-credit scene of the real Mandarin going to find Trevor Slattery and murdering him or something, because there is that one shot at the prison where
I think that's a canon one shot, isn't
the
it?
comment of the real.
So actually, that's fine.
Was that?
Somebody,
that is.
Somebody,
those bracelets will still
the Marvel
exist.
short.
Well, I was going to say somebody did spread a rumor. Somebody did spread a rumor around after the fact relating to what you were saying, Malcolm, where they said, what are the odds that Marvel goes and gets Ben Kingsley? Because at the end of that short, the guy that he's speaking to reveals he's an agent of the Mandarin and that he's there to bring him to the Mandarin. So what are the odds we just see like Ben Kingsley in a jail cell or something like that? Like,
if Devin was here, he would bring up that he said a couple times to me that the Ben Kingsley character mentions that they gave him plastic surgery. So they could have given him plastic surgery to look like someone else. So there could be somebody else who looks like Ben Kingsley out there that is an actual like terrorist, maybe not the Mandarin himself, but an agent of the Ten Rings. And that what Killian did was gave him plastic surgery so that he appeared more like the man that he was trying to impersonate, or what they thought was the man he was trying to impersonate.
And I was going to say, I want to give Jordan and Medea a quick chance to speak because they've been a little quieter than the rest of us.
I did put Malcolm in the middle so that all you fans out there that are watching, you know now that Malcolm is in the middle.
Damn, that was a pun too?
That was a pun. Yeah. I do want to give you guys a chance, but and if one of you guys wants to comment on what I'm going to say, go ahead. But my thing is now, if we're keeping MCU like canon, basically, how does whatever this movie is doing relate to the other 10 rings we've seen? Because they've already used the 10 rings in the MCU as the name and branding of a terrorist organization, which was brought back in Iron Man 3. They said that he was paying them and working with them, and that was, the Mandarin and the 10 rings kind of thing.
Hitman. They were also
there's a dude in Ant-Man too.
Who has and also there is a deleted scene.
Right.
It's seen in a deleted scene where Zemo gasses some people, but it is an alternate scene where it's not a canon scene because it's the book that activates the Winter Soldier that he's trying to bid on, and they do an alternate take in the movie. So, but the 10 rings were originally supposed to be in the script for Captain America: Civil War.
Right. So essentially, and
want to do something else.
If one of you guys wants to pick up on that, or you can just talk about the trailer in general before we move on. My just question is, how are they going to connect those two things? Because I feel like you have to address it at some point because it is a thing that happened, or do they just kind of let it go? If one of you guys wants to take that.
I mean, I'll just touch on that quickly. I don't think they necessarily need to address it per se. I mean, maybe in future movies, like they find out that there's this terrorist organization using the Ten Rings name, but they might not be connected with the Ten Rings in here. They could just be a separate branch of it. I don't think they need to address it, but it'll be nice if they do.
Yeah. Madi, Jordan, before we go ahead and move on.
So I'll let you go first, Jordan.
Well, I think that it's kind of like gonna be the same way that they had Ben Kingsley playing the fake Mandarin or whatever, like the terrorist organization, kind of like Malcolm just said, like it's kind of like a front for the terrorist organization. But I think maybe in the movie we're gonna find out that it's actually something totally different. That like we're gonna find out what it really is. They're just using it as a front, and then also. I had one kind of general question about the trailer. So the actor playing Shang-Chi, has he been in anything else? Like, do we know him anywhere, or is this kind of like one of his first roles?
He's in Kim's Convenience, which is his big thing.
But he looks great.
That's where it's from.
The red suit is awesome. We haven't mentioned that. The suit that they show on the poster for a minute. It's a cool, like they use like kind of that like kind of nylon-y, Kevlar-y mesh that they make kind of like these karate robes out of. It looks great. I'm very excited about this, just to see a great martial art. And we haven't mentioned San Francisco, setting of Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I think also setting of Hawkeye, if I'm not mistaken. Did they say they were shooting things in San Francisco for Hawkeye?
They said they were shooting there, but that doesn't mean it's set in San Francisco.
Yeah. So what I think that could mean is that the Avengers facility was blown up in Endgame. Perhaps they're building a new Avengers facility on the West Coast, which we've seen in the comics, video games, etc. But like just making San Francisco the new headquarters
of
Avengers as a more of a central spot where it's the equal distance between all the hotspots.
So you
that's just inviting people to blow up
they're setting up the West Coast Avengers.
Yeah,
we have to see the Golden Gate Bridge. We have to.
Yeah, like they're just like, oh yeah, let's destroy the Golden Gate Bridge. We haven't done that yet.
Magneto painted a target on it.
Right.
Yeah. So Madi, any final thoughts before we move on?
So I actually read a lot of Shang-Chi when I was younger. I don't know if you guys did, but like, so Fu Manchu was a pretty racist character, so I'm glad they got rid of him and kind of combined him with the character of the Mandarin. So here's where I watched the trailer, and this is kind of what I was thinking. So I see them as like the actual terrorist organization that's been kind of behind the scenes of a lot of the stuff that's happened with Iron Man, specifically in 1 and 3. And then they've also been behind the scenes of like some other stuff, but they've always been there. Like, and there's shots in the trailer where they're showing kind of like an ancient battle with the Guardian Lions that they have, and like. It shows like a younger version of the main actor who plays the Mandarin. So I feel like he might have like some kind of like age restriction powers that he's not aging as fast as everyone else is or something like that. So yeah, like the rings might have that ability. And in terms of the rings, I like that they're I still think they are rings, but maybe not designed to be fitting on a human's fingers. I think maybe they do belong to Fin Fang Foom, and then they were stolen. And then obviously a dragon's fingers the size of our arms.
So cool. No, that's so cool, dude.
I feel like that would be a cool thing to like a cool nod to have.
Because you could tie back to the Celestials, you can tie back to the Eternals, you could go you could do so many things with that. That's probably what it is.
And then there's also like a Chinese martial art. I don't know the name of the Chinese martial art, but there is one that they use metal rings around their arms in like a form of martial art. I don't know the name of it exactly.
I'll look it up.
I'll remember it like later on, but so I definitely think that there's a lot of potential here. Simu Liu in Kim's Convenience is a Canadian treasure. I love that he's in it. My sister's a huge Aquafina fan, which is great.
The water or the person?
Both. Also, there's a guy in the bus, like as it's like being driven. Diagonally.
Oh yeah, Drago's son.
Well, yeah,
no,
there's Drago's son.
He's in this too, but I know where you're going, Madi. Go ahead.
But like he's the guy in Spider-Man who was like, "Do a flip," and then he does a flip on a rooftop.
Is it him?
Yeah. So like
that guy just look like him because he has a lot.
No, it's him. It's him.
No, it's him, and that makes me really happy that he's like still.
And there's a rumor that this movie takes place during the blip.
See, if it does, I wouldn't be mad because I think what they're doing is they're really going into like the Enter the Dragon kind of style movie. which is awesome because we haven't really seen a good kung fu movie in public mainstream media in like the Western world in a while.
It could also be to play into that. It could be the Mandarin like behind the scenes playing like the terrorist organization, but having a bigger empire behind it, waiting for his moment to like seize opportunity. And then after the snap happens, he's like, okay, the world is primed. There are less people than there ever was. The world is primed for a takeover. It's time for the Mandarin take over now.
So I was going to bring that up. Do you guys think like, because there was a couple shots where it looked like they were in, for those of you guys who've seen like Falcon and Winter Soldier, where they're in Madripoor by the looks of it.
Yeah.
So
which
like,
is traditionally an X-Men location.
Yeah, like so I felt when they put the trailer, I was like, oh, is he the power broker as well as the Mandarin? And then that might have been disproved. But no, like a lot of this trailer really stuck out to me. I was like, all right, I'm really liking the action that they're showing. I like that they're gonna have a story of like, all right, he maybe saw that his dad was a bit of a villain and decided to leave, and now he's being called back and having to deal with this fact that his dad is a international terrorist, even though he just wants to be like singing karaoke Aladdin songs with his friends in San Francisco.
Yeah,
but that's where I saw it from me. You guys saying like, oh, maybe it's another front or like it's something else or who knows what. Like I can kind of see that, but I feel like they wouldn't have a Mandarin as like a fake character twice.
Yeah, I think this Wenwu character will be this universe's Mandarin, and again, it's an amalgamation of Fu Manchu and the Mandarin, and apparently original ideas from director Destin Cretton himself. So this is the closest we will ever get to the Mandarin. And the director had spoke about that previously, how he said like the first thing he wanted to tackle when he took on the project was whether they decided to go with Mandarin or Fu Manchu. Both characters in his eyes bring very problematic portrayals in the comics, and it was something he wanted to adjust going into the film.
Which is fair. Like you don't want to.
Which is totally fair. Yeah. You're in, I believe he'll be the second Asian director taking on, because Chloe Zhao is doing Eternals and she's also Asian, but he'll be the second Asian director in the MCU taking on the first Asian lead in the MCU. The last thing you do is want to bring in a character and portray them exactly the way they've been portrayed in the comics when there's been issues with how they've been portrayed in the comics. So it's a fair thing. But with that said, it's been almost an hour and a half. Let's move on to something that's not Marvel. After being forced to take 2020 off, the Conjuring universe returns to screens with its first trailer for The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. The third film in the Conjuring series is based on a story taken straight from the case files of demonologist Ed and Lorraine Warren, played again by Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, and is centered around the true case of Arne Cheyenne Johnson. In 1981, Johnson was put on trial for the death of his landlord, and it was the first case in United States history where an individual claimed demonic possession as a defense for committing a crime. The film is co-written and produced by James Wan, who is handing directing duties for this one over to Michael Chavez, the director of The Curse of La Llorona. The film is set for release on June 4th, 2021, and will be sent to theaters and HBO Max for 30 days. This week, it was confirmed that Furiosa, the Mad Max prequel starring Anya Taylor-Joy and Chris Hemsworth, will begin filming in New South Wales, Australia, sometime in 2022. Miller is currently finishing up work on his next project, 3,000 Years of Longing, and Hemsworth has to finish up work on Thor: Love and Thunder and Extraction 2 before he can begin production. Alongside the announcement, Miller talked about the film and stated that in terms of scope, he's going for something even bigger than Fury Road, and that apparently the film will have around 850 crew members on set daily. That's a big difference. The movie currently has no release date. When doing an interview with Deadline, director Justin Lin spoke about the future of the Fast and Furious franchise. Lin confirmed that this first film is the first of a trilogy that will wrap up the franchise, and as has been the rumor for the last little bit. Lin was also asked about the possibility of Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham returning to the main franchise before it ends. He responded by saying that in terms of the writing of the stories, there are no restrictions on who he could bring into the series, which we clearly see given the return of Han, played by Sung Kang, along with numerous cast members from Tokyo Drift. So while he can't officially say yet that they will be back as the stories aren't written yet, there is a high chance that he'll want to use them for the finales of the franchise. The Hobbs and Shaw list F9, however, will be released into theaters on June 25th. And finally, alongside high-octane car action, Vin Diesel is set to add robot fighting to his resume, as Diesel will be producing and starring in a film version of Rock'em Sock'em, based on the classic robot fighting game Rock'em Sock'em Robots. It'll be produced by Universal and Mattel, who have multiple films currently in pre-production based on their products, including the Barbie film with Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig, an Uno film, a Wishbone film, and Daniel Kaluuya's Barney. The film currently does not have a director, but will be written by Ryan Engel, who is the writer behind the Dwayne Johnson film Rampage.
Did I hear you say Daniel Kaluuya's Barney, as in Barney the dinosaur?
Yes, Daniel Kaluuya is producing a Barney the Dinosaur.
I talked about this like a few months ago. It's ridiculous.
Can we go back to the Marvel news, because all of this is good.
He's pulled off the same chunk, because they're all like that, like just ridiculous fun time at the movies, like especially like Fast and Furious, Hobbs and Shaw, Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Like this stuff is just popcorn fun. Like I'm not expecting any like depth to it. But like, kind of like Mortal Kombat was.
Even The Conjuring to a certain extent, you know.
But yeah, it's just I'm looking forward to these.
That's kind of where.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, I was gonna say that's kind of where I want to go first. Is this Conjuring trailer? You know, I didn't really know how to feel. I've made it clear on the show before. I'm not the biggest horror guy, but I did enjoy the first two Conjuring films. But I have not seen it, but for all intents and purposes, from what I've heard, Curse of La Llorona was not a good movie. So when I heard that he was taking over this film, that kind of worried me a little bit. And James, outside of writing, James Wan's involvement, I don't know was as deep as the previous films, even just in general. Like, I know he's been involved in the Annabelle films a lot. I don't know to what extent he was. He's not directing, no. And so that worries me a bit. As somebody who's not a horror fan, I did like the trailer. I have thought from the get-go that this is an incredibly interesting concept of the fact that this was an actual and I know they're all based on true stories, but the fact that this is an actual legal proven court case that these two people were a part of, where this guy, for the first time ever, someone tried to claim demonic possession as the reason for committing a crime. And I think that that's incredibly interesting for a concept. So I hope the film's great. I thought the trailer was good. I like the fact that for the most part, it relied more on tension and not jump scares, because certainly La Llorona looked like it relied a lot on the jump scare aspect of horror. So I hope the film is that way, because the first two films mastered that perfectly.
Well, there was a jump scare with the whole like waterbed scene where like some kind of like thing jumps out of a waterbed. That was a big jump scare, but it looked cool on the big screen, because I saw Mortal Kombat last night on the big screen, and I saw the Conjuring trailer. So I mean, it looked cool, but it did look like it had its fair amount of jump scares. So I'm really hoping they don't rely solely on that. I hope there's a little more depth in the story with the whole like using it in the court case, you know, the demonic possession. So, but
yeah,
I'm a huge horror fan. I'm a huge fan of the Conjuring. I'm one of the few that actually likes the second one better than the first. So, you know, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Any of the other guys' thoughts on the trailer?
I didn't watch it. I mean, I didn't know there was a trailer out for it until you mentioned it.
I'm glad I could do that.
Trailers. Like, I feel like a lot of them.
That's why I went to the other two stories.
Yeah, like a lot of horror movie trailers, I feel like just go on like, okay, here's the basic concept. Like, if you know that, like, if you read the concept out to me and it seems scary, I'll be in. Like, I don't need to see a trailer. I'll just go in and watch the movie.
I mean, yeah.
Which
in Mortal Kombat, this is one of the things the kid said was that when we were watching that was that our aforementioned the child to the Mandalorians that me and Devin babysit sometimes. Yeah, the jump scares were without sound. Like, it didn't rely on like epic sound like jump scares, which is always something that I hate, where it just like blows out the speakers for a jump scare, where it's more
real good use.
That was jump scare sound removed.
Yeah.
That's one of the things, like an example of that for me is, and I think the films are good on other levels, but the two It films I think have that problem. When they execute a jump scare, they really ramp up the noise. But if you, especially with the second one, if you lower the decibel on the sound, and I actually tested this in a theater because I was curious and I had the power to, when you drop the decibel on the sound and you take that boom impact away from the sound, a lot of the imagery really isn't as scary as they're trying to portray it to be.
Have you seen this dynamic audio setting that some streaming services provide?
I've not used it. I know it exists, but I don't really know how it works.
So what it does is that it levels out higher volumes. So like a movie like Tenet, where is almost impossible to watch at home because the action and the score are way louder than the dialogue. So it like you're adjusting your volume every 2 minutes on that. It's very difficult. That one more than anything though. Like it
makes it so you can actually hear the dialogue. Because I have that problem watching from home, where it's like way too loud and I can't hear what they're saying. You know?
Yeah, the dynamic audio will level it out so that it doesn't. The audio will be at a certain decibel as far as the dialogue goes, but won't reach a certain one as far as like the score and gunshots goes. That's just one of those things that I think is impressive that they can do right now, and I think it's a great feature. Unlike some of like the visual features, like the motion smoothing. Some of those things aren't that great, but the dynamic audio, I think that's pretty cool. Just because that's something I find is that when some of these digital movies, the audio is just way louder at certain parts of the movie, and people are like, turn that TV down. It's like it wasn't loud a minute ago.
You don't have to sit there and adjust it the whole time you're watching.
Oh,
and I was gonna before I pull another one of these up and kind of bounce it to someone, I will say, as someone who, and I totally acknowledge that it is there, but as someone who was able to watch Tenet more than once and had no problem hearing through the sound to understand the dialogue, it still doesn't really help you understand it till like the second or third time. So it doesn't really matter.
The thing I miss about the theater experience is that when you're watching a movie at home, you have to, like, especially with me, where you like, I live in like a duplex scenario where there are people downstairs, so I have to be respectful. That's one of the things that I miss about the theater experience is that they just play it, and everybody around you is there for the same thing.
No one's gonna be like, "Hey, turn it down a little bit."
Turn it down, no, because you can hear from the bathroom.
As somebody who managed at a movie theater, you would be fucking shocked how many times I got that request. The movie's too loud. Can you turn it down?
It's a movie theater. It's a movie theater. Yeah, you don't turn it down.
Yeah. So that I kind of understand.
Can we talk about how Vin Diesel is remaking Real Steel? Yeah, which is already a good movie.
That as well.
I mean, I was going to bring it up.
Yeah, no, Rock'em Sock'em. Why? Fucking why?
Why? Yeah.
Like, we don't need to make. Why is Vin Diesel still making movies?
Like, honestly,
because I'll watch them.
And I didn't mean to
that's one person.
I'll go back to you.
I'll watch them too. I'll watch anything if Vin Diesel's in, even if it's bad. I don't care.
The only thing that I can give Mattel credit for is, even though they're making dumb films, at least they're doing it in an interesting way. Like getting a literal living Rock'em Sock'em robot to be in the movie, that's kind of cool. Daniel Kaluuya's Barney? What the hell? Barbie as made through the eyes of Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach? What
You're
the
going to be pleasantly surprised.
I mean,
the Mattel part is fine. It's like, I'm not a Vin Diesel fan. I think after Iron Giant and Groot, I'm like, all right, just do voiceover work and that's it.
As well. I mean, for me, a Barbie movie could be interesting if it's done right. I'm curious to see where Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig would go. I'm also curious. I'm curious enough to see what Vin Diesel could do for Rock'em Sock'em Robots. The one that's in there, I forgot was in there, is I do not know why they are making an Uno movie.
Yeah,
it's gonna be the.
Are they really making an Uno movie?
They are making an Uno film.
I mean, I knew it was announced a while ago. I just knew it was.
Everyone hates the +4 card.
It's actually a horror film about 7, 8 eating 9.
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry. That was Nikki level. I'm so sorry.
Okay,
I'm better than that.
The one thing from the things that you said.
I'm kidding.
How dare you? I'm out, guys. I'm leaving.
I'm sorry. No, come back.
Ladies and gentlemen.
So the thing is, if the Uno movie is somehow successful, are we going to get a sequel called DOS, which is the other game that Uno makes?
That was Nikki level.
I want to see the card game crossover. Let's get 21. Let's get Texas Hold'em. Let's
Phase
get
10 in there. Gotta get all
Yeah,
that.
like, let's. I'm out.
One and Kevin Spacey was in it.
Yeah, let's not do that one.
Whoa.
I mean, if you want
All
a
right,
card game,
Blackjack.
it could make an interesting movie.
No, it was a game about
Munchkin.
Black 21. It's the same thing.
I don't even know what that is, Malcolm. That might just be a New Zealand thing.
Yeah, it was a movie about counting
It's
cards.
the Steve
Not a bad
Jackson
movie if you can
creation.
tolerate actors that suck.
Yeah,
Mm,
so
really.
let's get into this. So Furiosa, I felt the need to include it because I think it's an interesting concept for a
Jordan
film.
has
But
your picture behind him.
the
Oh, yeah,
story,
yep.
the
There you
story itself doesn't
You wanna
have
say.
much. It's basically just they've got the filming confirmed. They know it'll be next
Enjoy
year.
it,
They know where it'll be.
They're gonna have over 800 people like per day or
Yeah.
something on set. That's
Yeah,
That's
like
a lot
wild.
for little.
That's insane.
Like I don't even
That's
know
a
the metric.
big amount of crew people. That's a lot.
Huge
sounded
amount.
That's a lot.
Here's my
Right?
only worry.
So huge budget.
Here's my only worry with that movie. George Miller is 78 years old.
Whoa,
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
for him.
78,
Yeah.
and he's going to go into the desert for a year and film with a big budget crew.
Good for him though.
No,
Good
good
for
for
him
him.
for
Sure.
wanting to try.
God damn it, man! Like, be
But
careful.
could you imagine if he directed
Who's
it
in-
remotely? Like COVID has allowed
He's in his-
people to direct
He was in
things
his
remotely.
70s for the first one. So, and it was
He was in
amazing.
his 70s, yeah, but now
Listen,
you're like,
listen,
you're pushing the line here, man.
Good for
Yeah,
him. though.
78 is a very old age to be to go to
I
the
hope I'm
desert
directing movies when I'm 70.
to make.
Seriously.
I'm excited for the movie.
Yeah.
I hope after this he like stays home and
And
like.
Anya
Stay
Taylor-Joy,
safe.
can we just give her some love because it is a joyous occasion every time she's on.
I will say I didn't include it as a part. I didn't include it as a part of it, but I don't remember if it was like last week or maybe it was a couple of weeks ago. But I did see a thing where Charlize Theron gave an interview where she was very clearly salty about getting recast. Like it seemed like that wasn't discussed with her that they were doing a prequel. It was just kind of like, yeah, Furiosa movie, and you're not.
Yeah, I
coming
saw
back.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I
Which I
would be
kinda
too,
find
honestly,
funny.
because that Furiosa
Yeah.
character was so good.
Yeah,
And I'd love
especially
to
because
see.
for the longest time she was involved with it. Like
Yeah.
this prequel thing's kind of come out of nowhere, really.
Yeah, like I'd have loved to have seen her take on what happens after the ending of
Yeah.
Fury Road.
It's like, come on. Yeah.
Like, it's right there. Like it's brilliantly well
I
done.
don't know why you're not going to use her again. I still get it.
I don't know. Like that's the one part to me. I'm like, all right, well, maybe they just really love the story that they have, and that makes me somewhat hopeful. But at the
Yeah.
same time, I'm like, come on, man, just let her do it. Like she's great.
Like I trust George Miller has not made very many films in terms of how long he's been around and like a director, but I trust him as a director because he's not afraid to let a number of years go by between projects if he isn't fully invested in what he's doing. And also he's the same guy who made Babe and Happy Feet work. So it's like, you know
Yeah.
what? To an
Happy
extent,
Feet.
I can
Somehow he
trust
did
you with
that.
it.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened, but
Yeah,
Happy
like
Feet.
sure. I'll
Look
I'll
at
trust you.
society at that point, guys. That's questionable. How
I
it's
mean,
really
I kind of wish George Miller did a third Babe as opposed to another Mad Max movie, to be honest.
Oh my god! I get the craziest things about
Babe,
Babe.
Pig in the Ghetto.
Apparently after
Yeah,
after
right.
Cromwell did that movie, Zephyr
Pig in
Cochrane and
space.
several other Star Trek characters, he became an incredibly to the point of arrest animal activist in favor of not killing pigs. So like
I
I get
believe
this
it.
weird email from James Cromwell one time, and it was actually him about supporting like this notion of saving the pigs. He got arrested for protesting one time. So like that's just one of those weird facts about like
a random James
celebrity,
Cromwell
James
fact.
Cromwell, Star Trek actor, incredibly active when it comes to pig rights.
And but before we move on to the last
The more you
video,
know.
does anybody care if The Rock and Statham come back in Fast and Furious?
Can they not just
I
end the
hope so,
franchise
but Helen
now?
Mirren's there, so I'm fine.
I mean, I don't
haven't-
really care too
haven't
much, but I
enjoyed
did
any of
really
the Fast
have
and
fun
Furious
with that
movies.
last movie. Like, I had a lot of fun with it. Like I thought that it was great. I'm a huge Fast and Furious fan. I love popcorn movies. That's just me. But
You want Ryan Reynolds back?
But I also love like real serious movies with a good plot and good actors. You know, I mean,
That's not
I
one.
love cinema in general. So
Yeah,
I'll watch most movies.
Malcolm, go ahead.
I'll watch it.
I mean, I don't care if they get re-added, like appear in the main Fast and Furious series. I just want to see a sequel to Hobbs and Shaw. A Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah,
2,
that's what I want. Exactly what I meant. Yeah.
I would much rather have Hobbs and Shaw 2 than
them
any
go back.
more Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah.
I know they were like, oh, it's going to be a trilogy to end it, like they didn't deserve it.
They're never ending it.
I mean,
But,
looking at my keyboard. Looking at my keyboard, I can see why they're stopping at 12 movies. There's no F13.
Oh,
right.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
you know what it is?
Here's the other thing.
And then they'll do like 50 different spin-off television series. Prestige television.
I'm going to drop my one pun right now, and then that's it. They got to name Fast and Furious 10. Fast 10 your seatbelts. All right, that's it.
Right.
I mean, they did Fate. I mean, they did Fate of
The Fate of the Furious.
They did Fate of the Furious, and then whatever the hell F.
So that would not.
Furious 7 was also a play on Seven Samurai and all that. So
Depending on what part you are in the world, that had a different title.
It probably is too. Like who
Like it was the Fast and Furious 8 in some countries.
Yeah, but I feel like most people even know it as the Fate of the Furious.
In the immortal words of Luke Skywalker, it is time for this franchise to end.
I think it was still Fate of Furious. I think its official title was still Fate of the Furious. But I think on some marquees they probably put Fast and Furious 8, so people knew exactly what the hell it was.
Yeah.
Like in the movie itself.
My favorite one is Fast 5. In some markets, it was listed as the Fast and the Furious 5 Rio Heist, which is like, wow, you can't get any more specific about that one, can you?
No, Rio Heist. No. And that's a great movie.
Fast and Furious 5, the Rio Heist. This one has the rock in it.
We'd be remiss to mention that Fast. There's the original, the Fast and the Furious, and then the fourth in the franchise, which is just Fast and Furious. The's removed. And now we're getting Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad. We have Batman, the Batman. The's make a difference. That. We have Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and we have Captain America and the Winter Soldier. They are two different things. And
my favorite, my favorite thing about that title, the fourth one, is I don't remember where, but I remember reading a quote somewhere where somebody asked him about that, and Vin Diesel's response was essentially, "Oh, we did it because it was a reboot, but it wasn't technically a reboot." Like, what? That's your response?
What?
No, I understand what he's saying. It's a soft reboot.
It's a soft reboot with all of the same characters playing the same people.
No, but it's like the fourth. Yeah, no, I agree with you. But they're tonally changing.
Talking about all the previous events.
More of an action. But it's like Star Wars: The Force Awakens. That's a soft reboot. Star Trek, Star Trek. That's a soft reboot.
Well, and my favorite thing about
9 of these movies, and I have like 2 of them. So I'm okay.
My favorite thing about the fact that they're calling the fourth one a soft reboot, but then in the next film they went and brought back a dude who was in the first one. So it's like there's nothing soft reboot about that by bringing him back.
I mean, but that was Vince.
That's a hard reboot.
He's such a pivotal character. That's family, man.
Yeah.
Just to die.
Except for his biological brother, who for some reason doesn't qualify as family for
I like
8
that.
movies.
But John Cena's also
right.
He also doesn't like him very much.
No, it's just another like meathead. Like that's
how many more family members are going to come out of the woodwork for all these sequels? It's like
all of a sudden he has a secret mom and
their dad.
All of them are going to have brothers and sisters and everything.
Their dad might as well be Schwarzenegger.
I have not heard
as his father's brother's cousin's former roommate.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Like we're brothers, but we're not.
It's all family.
Meathead. I have not heard the word meathead since watching Nick at Night as a child.
I think that just might still be a Canadian term that we've.
There's like words like babalo and meathead. I didn't know you were from Canada. What part? What province?
The dad is going to turn out to be played by Clint Eastwood.
Well, no. But I want to know what Medea is.
That'll be the grandfather right there.
What?
Vancouver, Quebec, Ontario. Where are you in Canada?
Okay, so if you look on an American map where North Dakota is, if you go straight north for about 20 minutes, that's where I am.
Cool. And which province is that? Ontario, Quebec? Is that...
No, Ontario's way far out east.
Yeah.
Vancouver and BC are way far out west.
Yeah.
We're basically in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. Our province is called Saskatchewan.
But Saskatchewan. Okay, yeah. No, I know Saskatchewan.
You're the first person I met from not.
No, you never heard of it. people never
I've heard of it.
No,
who's actually heard of it? Like people hear it.
No, I've heard of it before.
Yeah,
I've heard of it.
Where the hell has Malcolm heard of it? Malcolm,
like
you're on the other side of the goddamn planet. Who's been talking about Saskatchewan to you?
Listen, Malcolm's been watching a lot of movies every week per his Facebook page. One of them has to say it.
Yeah.
There's one grown-ups joke.
Vancouver.
Yeah.
There's one grown-ups
joke.
There's one grown-ups joke where they say he's from Saskatchewan, which is a combination of a province name and a city that we have in our province, and he like amalgamated the names.
Feel proud of yourself. I'm from Riverdale.
He's got the weird voice. Yeah. I'm from Saskatchewan.
I'm from Riverdale, but it's not even called Riverdale.
Riverdale is different. At least people believe it's.
We don't even have a 24-hour diner. Wait, no. The guy that wrote the comics went to the local high school in my town. So like, and it's on the river. Like I live right on the river. So that's why it's Riverdale. It's where the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade originated. But it's kind of buttfuck nowhere now because like it was a big city when big cities didn't exist.
Yeah,
we don't have a 24-hour diner. That's
well,
neither do we.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to be sure to when I tell people where I'm from. I've got to make sure I say I'm from Dunedin, New Zealand, because if I just say I'm from Dunedin, people go, "Oh, you're from Florida."
Oh God!
Really? It's a city in Florida.
Is it?
There's a city in Florida called Dunedin.
I didn't know that, and I live here. So
yeah, no, I thought my package. I was tracking on FedEx the other day. It said that my package was in Dubai. And I was getting angry for a second. I'm like, this said it was USA shipping. What the hell? So I and then I looked up
Dubai, Missouri.
Dubai, like somewhere in America. But it should be here tomorrow.
I mean, I feel sorry for anyone that lives in hell.
Hell, Michigan. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say before we move on to the next topic, Nikki, you said you wanted to hop off, man.
Yeah, I gotta go down. Thanks, guys. I apprite it.
Oh, it was a pleasure.
All right, later, man.
Me next week. We're gonna be. I'm gonna be doing some sort of program for Star Wars: The Bad Batch. Anybody who wants to be involved with that, we can do something. This is gonna be more of less of a live like discussion show and more of like an edited thing that with images and clips and stuff. Trying something a little different than what we did with the discussion shows. Discussion shows, we need to make sure everybody's available at the same time. This show, we can have clips of different people at different times, and I can do it immediately after the episode airs, so we can get that turnaround out fast. So keep your eye out for that. TMG After Dark, and also you can see me on an upcoming Schmo Talks. I'm not sure when it's going to air, but I know when we're filming it. So Aaron, thank you, Madi. Great to see you, Madi. Great to see you, Jordan. Great to see you, Malcolm. Great panel tonight. Great topics. Good weekend. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Same, bro.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. So before we move on, I'm trying out something new that we kind of rough ran last week, but it's a new thing I'm introducing. So as we're getting close to wrapping up the show, we don't want to get into another half-hour discussion here. So the last video was on DC topics. So what I can do is I can either play the video as a whole, or I can take all the topics I had for the rest of the show, give you guys a one-line log line of what it's about, and then if you want to hear it, I can read it, and then we can talk about it for a couple minutes.
Let's do that.
All right. Sure. So I'll go through the DC ones first, and then I will go through the ones that I had on the side in case we finished early. So the first one is about Zack Snyder's Justice League potential performance on HBO Max.
I mean,
all right, moving on.
People
have talked about that enough, so who cares?
Yeah,
fair enough. The point in being of the piece, it did not perform as well as people think it did. Anyways, moving on. Zack Snyder talks about his cut Green Lantern scene.
That's honestly a shame. Like I watched the thing of it. It's a shame that they had to cut him out, but also at the end of the day, Zack Snyder was just like making his own movie, and then they're like, "We did ask you not to do like 20 of the things that you did." And it's like, all right, I'll change one thing for you guys.
Yeah.
So we were either gonna get that extra Green Lantern or Martian Manhunter, so I'm fine with either or.
Yeah, so to kind of put it, read the thing out just quickly for the people watching. So Zack Snyder talked about the cut Green Lantern appearance from the film. He revealed that the Green Lantern that would have appeared was Jon Stewart, and they'd in fact cast an actor and shot scenes. That actor's name is Wayne T. Carr. Carr is actually a small-time TV actor whose first film appearance would have been Justice League. Now he has a small part in the upcoming Joel Coen film, The Tragedy of Macbeth. So that'll actually be his film debut. And Snyder said they were able to shoot the role, but basically the way they did it was they shot it with the intention of CGing everything else about the scene, including the costume later. So when it was cut, they were basically just left with random shots of him doing whatever without any context. So that's why it's not even been released like just on the internet, because there's really nothing there without the CG added in. So Jordan, Malcolm, any kind of thoughts on that, knowing that it does exist on some level?
I mean, I figured that there was plans for Green Lantern when they had a Green Lantern in the flashback scenes, but I'm not too worried about this. As Madi said, there's already enough in this anyway.
Yeah,
right.
Jordan?
The movie's already 4 hours long. I mean, we've already got enough. But I mean, I just wondered, like, my question is, are they going to do anything with that actor, or is it just pretty much scrap?
I hope
history?
So. I mean, if they cast him originally, I hope they keep him on if they make a Green Lantern movie.
Same here. Like I'd be happy to have an unknown for Green Lantern. I mean, I think that'd be pretty cool. But yeah. I mean, so yeah, hopefully they use him or use him in some capacity. Maybe he doesn't play Green Lantern, but maybe they still use him for something. You know?
Yeah, agreed.
Hopefully. So then the next one is Shazam 2 cast Lucy Liu.
Great.
Yeah.
I mean, Lucy Liu will be an interesting villain. I don't know if you've got this in your list, but Helen Mirren's also cast in it as well.
I was going to say, I'll read it off, just rattle it off quickly. So this week, director David F. Sandberg confirmed that for his upcoming film, Shazam! Fury of the Gods, Lucy Liu had been added to the cast. Liu is confirmed to be playing the villain of Calypso, who is the sister and in league with Helen Mirren's previously announced Hespera. And they will be the kind of co-villains, with Helen Mirren being the head villain. And then obviously, as I include, the film's release is June 2nd, 2023. It is filming, I believe, currently right now. So that I love that addition. I do like that they are taking the approach with the gods of they're gods who gives a fuck if they look alike. Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu are sisters. Who cares? And the supposed rumor is that the supposed rumor is that apparently I believe her name is I forget her name, but the girl who is making her acting debut in West Side Story that was cast as Maria, she is also in this film. Her role has not been announced, but the rumor is that it is connected to these two in some way, but it doesn't mean she's an antagonist. So I'm very curious to see what that could be as well. But yeah, Liu's great, and I did mention in the full thing, like, she's no stranger to action. Kill Bill Volume 1, the Charlie's Angels films, and she's one of the good parts of those films, honestly. She's been great in action before, so this is exciting for her to be a part of it. Any thoughts?
Is she going to hold up Zachary Levi's decapitated head like she did in Kill Bill? Or
are you, dude, I wish I had the picture. I had it in the original video before the files got
like
scrapped.
David F. Sandberg posted
David F. Sandberg posted it. I love that.
I really hope that it's just like a nightmare scene or something that they put that in there, because that's so funny.
That was so funny when I saw that. I was like, that was great. But yeah, Malcolm, Jordan, any thoughts on it before I bring up another one?
I mean, nothing. I mean, I tend to not talk a lot about casting because, like, I don't try to judge any castings. Like, I see a casting, like, oh, that's interesting. Then I'll just wait to see how it plays out in the movie, because it may be something that works for the movie, may not. But I mean, I'm excited for Lucy Liu in anything.
Yeah. So we already have two villains in the movie. Do we know how many villains we're gonna have in total, or is this it as far as villains go? I mean,
well, both characters, if I'm correct, and Malcolm, you seem like you might know a bit more than me, so correct me if I'm wrong. I believe both of these characters they're playing are part of the gods that help give Shazam his powers.
Yeah, that's what I've kind of heard.
Okay,
But it is one of those ones, like, because even though, like, Lucy Liu, Helen Mirren are in league with each other and sisters and that, I think Lucy Liu could be the primary villain, the other ones are just not in there as much, and just sort of
I certainly see Lucy Liu getting more physical than Helen Mirren in terms of the action.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
What? So you can't imagine Queen Elizabeth kicking butt?
No, I definitely
Yeah.
can.
I'd love to see it. Listen, this is the same woman who pushed to be driving a car in an action sequence for Fast and Furious. I totally buy it.
Yeah.
But like her, Lucy Liu,
Helen Mirren could play Martin Luther King at this point, and I'd be like, yeah, that works.
Yeah.
Like
that tracks. Yeah.
it works. Like I'm cool with it. Like
oh my God.
she can do no wrong. I don't care. And she's like however old, and she's still a fox. So I don't do whatever you need to do, Helen Mirren. Get on screen more.
So I don't want to get off on too much of a side tangent, but is this movie leading directly into Black Adam? Is that kind of what it is? Or
I don't know what the timeline is. Like I feel like Black Adam
have not confirmed,
and they meet or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
To be honest, when it comes to DCU, I do not know what's going to be connected or what's not
They're
anymore.
all over the place. Yeah.
It's easier to understand the X-Men timeline at this point.
Right.
What'll actually happen is we'll find out down the road that David Sandberg been told one thing and Jean-Michel Serra was told a different thing. So even they don't really know what's happening. They just know that they're making movies for them.
Honestly, I'm fine with that. If they just make movies the way they want to, I'm cool with that. And then
as long as they're good, who cares?
Yeah. Who cares?
Like I like Shazam 1. I'll probably like Shazam 2 since he's doing it again.
Like the truth is, the odds of anyone doing what Marvel's been able to do and replicating it to that level of success are very, very low because they're so deep into it. So just do your own thing. Stop worrying about chasing some other company's tail and find your own success.
Yeah.
Right, and I'd be happy if it never connected to anything, just let it be its own thing. I'd be happy.
I mean, to be fair, if DC started off right and did like origin stories and then led into Justice League, instead they try to speed up and get to Justice League so quickly that it all went all over the place. It could have worked out a lot better.
Unfortunately, to use a very sexual metaphor, while Marvel took all the correct steps in the correct order and got consent, DC got in the door and then pulled the naked man. So, it is what it is.
Yep.
They made their choice and they got to live with it. So,
I mean, Batman did show his penis a couple years ago in the comics. So.
You're right. All right, let me pull up another one. All right, so. I mean, this one's in honor of the Oscars. I pulled it. Now these are just random stories. In honor of the Oscars, Justin Timberlake was almost an Oscar host.
Fuck Justin Timberlake.
Well, if he was good as he is on Saturday Night Live, I mean, like he's great on that, but not really on anything else. So maybe he's better in like live format, You might be
so since the lack of interest is here, I won't bother reading the whole thing to it. The people who ended up doing it the year that he was supposed to do it were Anne Hathaway and James Franco. So I'll say he would have at least been better than them.
Nope, still don't buy that.
No, you like James Franco?
I like him better than I like Justin Timberlake, but
fair enough.
Watch him on Saturday Night Live, and he's good.
The Haunted Mansion reboot is back on with new filmmakers.
Why?
Sure, let's hear who the filmmakers are.
Yeah, so the Haunted Mansion is back on. Now the people in charge of it are writer-director Justin Simien, who is known for creating and directing the movie and show Dear White People. He is also currently working with Disney on the Star Wars Lando series, and he will be writing the script with Katie Dippold, who is known for previously writing some of Paul Feig's films, including The Heat, Spy, and Ghostbusters.
Okay, Ghostbusters we can ignore, but
the other two.
Spy I really liked. I really liked Dear White People, the show and the movie. So, you know what? Now I'm intrigued. As long as Eddie Murphy has a cameo.
It's very different. It's going to be very different from the interpretation they had a few years ago with Del Toro and Ryan Gosling. Like this is going to be a very, very different film than what that would have turned out to be, I imagine. Okay. But yeah. Simeon's one of those creators where he got a great
I wish they
movie.
would go that way.
He spun it into a great show, but unfortunately, everything he's been attached to for the last few years, most of it hasn't gotten off the ground. So I'm glad to finally see him get with a studio who I believe will at least get his projects to set.
And I'm
then
excited
from
for his
there-
Lando thing too, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know what that is. Like, we don't even know yet if it's Billy or if it's Donald or if it's both. But either way, I like it because I like him
hope
so
it's
much.
both, just because. Give me more Lando. I love Lando.
Yeah. Malcolm,
Same.
Jordan, any quick thoughts?
Well, I just hope they don't make it too like I don't know, just not too cheesy and like it's supposed to be a family movie, but at the same time, I hope they make it like appeal more to an audience than just kids, you know. So
Yeah.
I mean that's really the only thing I can have to say.
Which I don't think you have to worry about with Simeon. If there's one thing he's shown, I
can't
don't
be
think
any
he'll pander.
Right.
Yeah, he's definitely not someone who like appeals to the audience. He makes his movies.
Sorry, Malcolm. I think there was a delay there. I cut you off. My bad.
That's all good. I mean, this Haunted Mansion reboot can't be much worse than what we've already had.
Hey, that movie won 12 Oscars.
Yeah, right.
It's in the classics alongside Pluto Nash and Norbit for Eddie Murphy. It's one of the greats, you know.
It's
Yep.
definitely one of his top 5.
All right, what else do I got? I'm almost out of stories. Here's one. The Seven Dwarves joined the Enchanted sequel.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Cool.
Sounds cool. Yeah.
Basically, they revealed the plot of the film and said all 7 of the dwarves are apparently involved.
All right. Let's
and
have a
then the
cast
last-
list.
Huh?
Do they have a cast list, or do they just say that the dwarves are?
Yeah.
So they haven't
Yeah.
confirmed yet because they've only just started filming. They haven't said who's playing the literal dwarves. But what they did confirm is that from the first film, obviously, oh my Christ, what's her name? Amy Adams, James Marsden, Patrick Dempsey, and Idina Menzel will all be back.
Cool.
All right.
Awesome. I'm excited.
But yeah, other than that,
I'll see it.
and then the last story, there he is. He's back. Let's see if that helped him as he loads in.
Maybe not. We'll see.
My favorite part about this story is I can't wait for them to have to call somebody dopey on screen. I never thought I'd see that in a Disney film, but here we are.
I bet you Amy Adams will say it and it'll sound wonderful, and then Patrick Dempsey will be like, "Dopey." That sounds so awful, and it's just going to be like a really big clash on that end.
Malcolm, any thoughts on the Seven Dwarfs?
Might be
I don't know if he's frozen or if that's just his reaction.
Not really.
All right, that's cool with me. And then the last one that I have here, which I'll just kind of read out quickly, is it was only announced this week, but next Friday on Disney Plus they will be uploading a short film that is a kind of pseudo sequel to the 2020 animated film Soul. Essentially, the concept is Tina Fey's character 22 will be leading 5 newborn souls in a, let me see the wording they used, in a rebellion against the idea of going to Earth and becoming humans. Apparently, this was something that they conceived while producing the original film, but cut the storyline because they felt it dragged too much from Jamie Foxx's character's storyline of going back to his body. They just thought it would take up too much time, but they liked the concept enough that they kept it and animated it anyways, and they're going to release it to Disney Plus on April 30th.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is the show. I want to thank, obviously, Nikki for being with me tonight. And I want to thank these 3 gentlemen for hopping on. Mehdi, Jordan, thank you guys for coming on. I'd obviously love to have you back. Malcolm, the astrophysicist, thank you for coming on and enlightening us. I'll obviously love to have you back on anytime as well. Where can the people find you, Malcolm, if you want to plug yourself? I know you got a lot to plug on the internet, so where can people find you?
You can find me on Tape 3 and Full Metal. My internet's going bonkers at this point. Not streamed enough. But yeah, I don't know how much of that you heard.
All of it. We did hear all of it. Jordan, where can people find you?
So you can find me all over the Movie Hero Network. That's my YouTube channel that I run. We're doing a tier ranker fight tomorrow. That's going to be a little pre-Oscar show. So we're going to have Lon Harris on the show, and we're going to have Paul Preston. We're going to be talking best and worst Leonardo DiCaprio movies. We just decided to pick like an Oscar-worthy actor and just rank all his films, and we might get an appearance by Aaron possibly. So that should be fun. And then I have another show that's called Live from Movie Hero, and where we talk about classic Saturday Night Live episodes. We're going to be going on a 1 week hiatus. I'm going to be out of town next week, so we're going to skip 1 week, and then we'll be back to that. And then I also run the Showdown Friends and Family group on Facebook. So if you have anything that you'd like to promote, if you're working on a project, you got a YouTube channel, you can promote to your heart's content over there. And we always try and support people in the community. And then also, if you want to talk Schmodown, we just had the free for all, so we're going to be definitely talking some Schmodown there. So that's where you can find me.
Yeah, and Madi, where can people find you?
You can find my porn channel at Pornhub.
There you go.
It's at Madr. Don't look it up.
Listen, I have to be real. I'm sorry it took us 2 hours and 10 minutes to get here, but I have to ask you the question that we all want to know. What is your OnlyFans?
Oh, it's the same as all my other stuff. Madr.
Same thing?
I've pretty much like taken over every social media's Madr username and just like put it as my thing. So
Perfect.
Yeah, that's the thing.
What's your subscribe rate?
Not very high, which is fair.
Good.
But it's like two.
This is a real thing.
I'm pretty sure one of them is like probably like my mom or something. Like I don't know. She's like, "Oh, my son! I saw my son on Google on an OnlyFans thing," and then she never looks at it, so it's fine.
I was gonna make a joke.
But for real, you can find me on anything at Madr, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, MySpace, Napster, all that good stuff.
Napster.
I'm pretty hip with it. So. Yeah, no, I show up every now and then on random shows. I was just on a show with Malcolm before I got on here, and
right on.
Yeah, I don't do trivia except for some reason I did it today with Henry's channel. Aaron, you remember Henry, but
of course, yeah.
I don't know. I just do shit. Like you'll see me around.
Absolutely. And you guys can check out everything that's happening on this channel. Our outro video is outdated because obviously the Falcon and the Winter Soldier is over, so we're not doing reviews for those anymore. But Matt was unavailable and he handles all that crap, so I don't have the right one. But you guys can check out all the podcasts and stuff that we do on this channel. Obviously next Saturday, every Saturday, we will be here at 9 p.m. EST for After Dark. Tomorrow at noon EST, excuse me, we have the Supernova show going up with Colton Roberts, all the geeky shit that you guys love. You guys can talk about it and hear about it on there. On Mondays at 7 p.m., we have Schmo Talks that goes up. That's my Schmodown kind of interview / panel style, depending on the week's show. Obviously, this week there won't be an episode because I'm kind of working on a bit of a special project that's going to take a bit of an extra week of recording, so that'll be up the week after this. But you can look for it at that time. And then also on Tuesdays, we have Cancel This Show, which is our political show hosted by Alan Shepard and Matt Beer, in which they attempt to see how much of the internet they can piss off in one shot. But it really is a fun show in that sense. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. We will see you guys next time on After Dark. Take care, guys.